flying the airplane in GTA 5 at your house, I almost threw up.
That's the other thing. Did you see they found footage of Perry's car accident in 1979, and someone just posted a video of them crashing a car in GTA and it blowing up?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was staged, right?
Yeah. I think we're live. It's hard to tell, but I
We're
think we're
live.
live.
We're live. Trust me.
All
I'm
right,
watching
cool.
it on YouTube.
So what's going on, everybody? No one's here probably yet, but a little note to one of our
Folks at
colleague is
home.
colleague isn't the right word. Another fellow YouTuber, Half Moon Picks, put out a video. He's doing a picks contest this year for decent cash. I think first place is like $500, and it's against the spread confidence pool. So anybody watching this, I highly recommend entering. It's just a free
I wonder
chance
if
at winning
someone
money.
else had an idea like that.
I thought that too. He also said he's going to be making less videos this year, I guess, because of time constraints. And I think he said he made $1,200 last year. That's probably even more than we made, to be honest. And it's as far as YouTube's concerned, and it's just not. It's like this is like such a passion project for us. This is not a money making endeavor. Let's put it that way.
No. But I mean, like, we've advanced the stone, though. Hello, Mickey Hill, and we've met a lot of people that like I didn't know existed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy that they do, right? Like, and there is some room for growth too, and I've actually learned a lot. And also too, it's not like learning is a weird term in that, like, people think it's like advancing knowledge in a certain area. Well, I mean, I did that too, but it's more understanding what other people's problems were and what their questions were, right? Because you know what I mean. There's this is a sports betting channel, and what I've learned is what a lot of people are, what they're interested in, and what they don't understand, right? So, more to a fine degree, let's say.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, yes,
I'm just getting everything loaded up. What's going on,
yeah.
Mickey?
Well, he's not the talking guy, anyways. Let's be real here.
No.
I got some action on the CFL game. So Fat Guy's got under 47 at plus 109. I don't even know what that means.
I'm curious to see if the line's moved since then.
Now it stayed at the it's minus 111, 47. I
Okay.
just checked. Is it, when does that game start? It's the Lions versus the Stampeders.
It's 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, so that would be 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm just checking now. It looks like the over's gone up to minus 112.
Yeah.
So some money coming in on that over, but I'd much rather have the under at plus 109 than either one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
I
think I know Jackson is interested in the football team. I'm probably going to have both games up watching Mickey if I had to guess. Because I'm curious to see things happen on both sides.
think you know who I'm rooting for. This is a fake hat too. Like, I ordered a bunch of skin stuff before they got rid of it, and the only official thing I got was this shirt, a jacket, and a toque. And I got a bunch of like fake stuff. So
It's terrific
hello,
though. Like,
Jay.
it's gonna be collector's gear. Like, it doesn't really matter what side of the coin you're on. It's gonna be.
Oh yeah,
It's a piece of history.
yeah. It's one way of looking at it. I tried to buy I guess we'll call it culturally insensitive ticket or program for a 60s game. The opening bid was $20. I put down 80. Some guy it went up to like 340 around the time when things got banned. So that was out of my league for just a program. It was Eagles versus Redskins. It was I'm just, the market moves fast in those types of things. So maybe I can recoup some of my investment in some of this Jim Brown memorabilia. Of course, that's daunting for a good man to die. Did you guys see the intro to the baseball game? No, no, we have not. We're just jumping on the computer.
What's going on Untouchable? The I'm just getting everything loaded right now so I can check it out because I forgot that that game was on today, and I woke up remembering like this is the day that it's on. Man, there's going to be a lot going on today. Oh, Henok is here saying the Steelers are going to win, so he's calling his shot. Maybe I can put up the betting percentages for this game before
That's
starts.
an idea.
And
that's an idea.
Interesting to note as well is that the number of bets for these two games is approaching 10,000, which is actually almost the average for what a regular season game was last year, which is pretty unreal.
The average was like 14, 13.
12,940 bets was the average number of bets last year. So very, very interesting to note that these games, there they go. Both of these markets just updated 10,000 bets plus on both games. It looks like the public is on the Eagles against the spread. They're on the over of 33.5. I see two different lines there. I see 33.5 and I see 36.
How could it? Well, I'd take the middle then. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at what it actually is rather than this because that's the one thing. Action Network is good for percentages, but as far as lines, I hate their best odds setup. And currently on Pinnacle, the under 36 is minus 102. So I'm going to just quickly jump on that under because I will. But that's a pretty heavy line movement. I'm just going to double check to see. Let's take a look here to see what this actually opened at Pinnacle, so we get an accurate idea of where this line is actually moved. Today is August the 12th. We want to see the totals. So yeah, this opened 33.5. It's been bet all the way up to 36, and the juice is on the over at minus 114. If we take a look over here, 61% of the bets has helped push that up. So I am going contrarian here, although going against the line move. So I'm just hoping that the line has moved too far.
Yeah, but but that's exactly it. You might have some edge on minus 102 is such a low juice that like you don't have to be right very many times over 50% to make a profit on that style of wager. If you can get both though, that's there's probably, we don't have the math in front of us, but there's probably some if you can get over 33 and under 36.5 or whatever it is, I'd even buy the half point perhaps. I don't know. We'd have to do the math on it. But that middling 34, 35, possibly 36, that's probably a winning wager, even though you're paying juice twice. Oh, cup up, bros. And we got some Teddy KGB. Always the fun emojis. Well, I'm going to drop one in there. I don't see the league where they play. Huh. Oh, there he is. Why is it called SGS? Oh, Sports Guy Show. See, I'm far behind.
We actually, I haven't told Fat Guy this, but we lost a certain amount of people because the amount of people that you have on the membership, the more emojis you can have. And because we lost them, we actually lost a spot. So I'm not sure if we lost one of the emojis or if we just lost a slot to put in an emoji, which who cares? Like all of that's going to come back eventually. So let's look at the Washington football team Patriots market. So public is on the Pats, 62% of bets. I just want to take a look and see. Pats open +2. It says they're -1 at Pinnacle. Let me just double check. That is true. There's heavy juice on the Patriots too, at -126, -1, which is interesting. Let me just take a look at what the money line is. -136. Okay. And the over-under is 37. That's a high OU. It's
Oh,
got a
as far as we've
very
seen.
it's got a very similar market towards the other game, and it has the exact same minus 102 juice. Let me just check to see what that opened at. 32, so it's been bet up to 37. I'm going to take that. So I'm on both unders in these games. And the money line, people are on the Pats, so people are definitely on the Patriots this game. I know Jackson was saying he liked the Washington football team.
You can kind of understand why people like the Pats, because from a quarterback room perspective, they're a lot better, I would say, like streamlined wise. Do you know what I mean? Like there's obviously you have Mac Jones, first round pick, Cam Newton. I don't know obviously the playing times. And like Jared Stidham was for a long time last offseason conveyed to be the starter until Newton replaced him. And like you know what I mean? Like as far as a third string guy, Jared Stidham, you can probably do worse than that. So that usually gives like that's usually what tips people in favor of that type of I guess handicapping decision. But it's the coaches really decide. Like if a team wants to win, they can win in the preseason. Like it's not that hard. So it's uh it's a little bit bizarre in that way. So I guess it would be really contrarian to go with the Washington football team. You know, because I mean, I guess just from a quarterback disadvantage, I guess we'll call it. You know, and how like you know, how much is that defensive line going to play, Big Rye? Like 10 snaps, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like the first drive, if
Maybe the
anything.
first drive that could be 3 snaps, and then maybe they'll give him the second one. So like 6 at the lowest, right? Like, you know. So I don't know. I just because you can't wash the crux of the Washington football team is on their defensive line, and like why would you play those guys much? That's a strong D line. I really like how the football team is built. You know, and Fitzpatrick, you have to gamble on offense because they're not that good, right? Like it's just the crux of the D line. So we'll see.
Nothing caught Mickey's eye, so he's off of these. The line movements are kind of scary, and I haven't done the OU data check yet, but I don't know if regular season is gonna lean itself towards anything betting preseason wise. What teams are playing in this baseball game? Is it the Yankees? I think it's Is it Yankees White Sox? And then how much longer till game time? It's 4:22, so kickoff's in 8 minutes. Da, da, da.
Which audio do I go with? I'm gonna go with football team Patriots. I mean, when you wear the gear, you kind of. Oh, there's Zaps.
What's going on, Zaps?
Zaps. This is interesting. I heard that they want Fitzpatrick to lead at least one scoring drive. That you know why that actually makes sense to me. That seems like Rivera's a kind of an old school type coach, so like the psychological factors are probably more in tune with him. So I could see that, like for a confidence standpoint, right? I mean, maybe that's a an inkling that the football team's defense is beating up on Fitzpatrick, which they should. They should. Let's be real here. Wonder where Zap's got that information.
Probably like beat writers or people on the team. Zaps is on the under in the cornfield game. I've just got it out right now. They're zooming around.
Jackson,
camera.
we got the crew here. This is great. Zaps, is there the Field of Dreams game? Is it a longer field? Google News. Okay, thank you. Yeah, but it's so tough to gauge like what's the viability. It's kind of like there's that book, Super Forecasters by I think it's Richard Tetler, and Skin in the Game by Talib, where they talk about guys that make useless or predictions, but there's no repercussions for being wrong, right? So they never put the record on the line. So that would be a good. That's an interesting thing. If you could rate B writers in terms of accuracy and effectiveness, because that would actually, you probably end up with a wash the whole way though. That's the only problem. So I'm always thinking of trying to streamline information into money. And this streaming website, it's either the volume is at 100 or it's at 0. I can't.
I don't like. So this is gonna sound strange, but for this baseball game, I figured there wouldn't be fans. I like. I don't know why I thought that, because that makes absolutely no sense.
Sorry, say it again.
I thought there wasn't going to be fans. Like, I thought they were literally just going to be playing in some cornfield somewhere.
What?
Just some
You're
cameras. Maybe like they can bring a coach, like maybe one coach.
Oh man, if you can grease a few dollars out of the American public, you don't think they're going to do that?
Well, yeah, like now I'm looking back like I'm an idiot, but at the time I was like, oh, I wonder why that is.
Yeah, the number is good, but is that half run worth the gap in juice, right? The 10. It's interesting. It's always interesting. Knowing the value of a point, knowing the value of a run.
And just like Jackson said, that's how I felt too. It would be more like the Field of Dreams, because I'm pretty.
I guess that's
true. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I don't remember there being 20,000 fans.
Maybe just Ray Liotta was invited and they decided to go against that. Or is it Kevin Costner? Whatever's funnier.
Well, I've already got a bad price because the under 37 on the Washington New England game is plus 104, and I got it at minus 102.
You a bum.
So there's already a loss before this game's even started.
Yeah, can't even beat the closing line.
Nope.
There's cheerleaders at the Steelers-Eagles game going right now. Guess they're in preseason too. It's Pennsylvania, though. There's not very many people in the stands. I wonder what the restrictions are. Rashad Bateman's getting groin surgery. Man, it just never ends with... Like, that's the only position the Ravens haven't drafted very well as receiver.
Is the story of the day for me?
What's that?
Denzel Mims.
Oh, yeah.
He ate bad salmon and he was poisoned for 2 weeks.
Please. I don't buy that for a second, but whatever. You can say that. How do you get food poisoning for 2 weeks?
There's got to be some sort of Denzel Mims salmon pun people can make for a good fantasy team name.
Yeah. I get less enchanted by that position every single year, and it's like almost impossible because they couldn't be any lower in comparison to other. Like, I actually value a good fullback. You know what I mean? Like okay, maybe that's hyperbolic, but it's unreal. Mims needs for hymns. That's the best. That's it. That's the win. That is the complete win. Unreal. Have you seen the marketing for hymns? I think we've talked about it before.
I think it's spectacular.
Oh, of course you would.
Like, I don't like it, but I think it's spectacular. If it's what I think it is.
Yeah. It's the multiple guys in the shower together. I mean, that's one.
No. Sorry, I'm completely mixed up. That's not. I was thinking of a different company, and I'm just not going to say it because.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was weird. It
was weird. Yeah, it's just you're really segregating your your audience. I mean, I don't know. But we're talking about it, so there you go. I remembered it. How many commercials do I remember? You know, I literally don't know the one I just saw. So, Zaps needs an update so he can tail because he's a degen.
I'll write them in the chat. I'm on the Washington football team, New England under 37 -1.
The only argument I could have against that about Zim needs 4 hymns. Have you seen his girlfriend and how old that guy is? Please. I don't know if he needs anything really. I always kind of root for the Vikings, but it's like I don't know. Oh, I guess that is why he needs. Okay, Mickey, I guess you got a good point there.
The Vikings have decent odds for their division, like higher than I would have initially thought. So I still haven't done like a deep dive into all of the teams and all the rosters and schedules and all that kind of stuff. But I just found it interesting. Let's see. Let's see if I can find what it is. Or no, I did I've got it in one of these sheets here. Yeah, here we go.
Oh yeah, Jackson, you hate the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard or easy that is to see, guys. But Vikings plus 240. So they've got like the true percentage is like the actual percentage that the book's giving them is 26% chance to win that division. The Lions, to me, are just a dumpster fire, which means I'm probably going to end up betting the Lions every single week. The Bears.
I don't like the Bears.
And then the Packers are just the Packers. So, like, I guess Rodgers is going to play.
Yeah.
I feel that's where things are going.
I can't get this sound right on this stupid game. I'm so angry. Do you have a good stream on the football team Patriots game?
Yeah, I'll send you the link on Discord.
I can't adjust the sound. It's driving me absolutely crazy. We did have a Dylan Todd Field sighting. That's my worst. Holy smokes. Ross Tucker, former offensive lineman, is calling the Eagles game, and he looks. What's with linemen getting in incredible shape after retirement?
I think it just shows how, like, freakish. They're freak athletes. Like, I don't know how you can be 300 pounds and, like, run a 4.8, or I don't know what linemen are running now.
Well, some of them are. Lane Johnson did. I mean, he's the rarity, right? Like, but it is done. You know what I mean? So, like, it's not unfathomable anymore.
It's also got to put us, like, it's just got to be strenuous to stay at that weight and stay as athletic as they do.
Yeah.
Oh, Mickey said that Pittsburgh's blocked out for him. Oh, yeah, they need the mask while they're playing. It's just so impressive that they're able to, like, have as much control as they have over their bodies is what it seems like. I think they're just, like, science marvels.
Oh, this is using the same streaming app as the one. Shoot. The one you sent me, it's the same one.
No, it's not good.
Yeah, I can't change the sound. That's so annoying. That is what it is.
just a little bit of an update. Weather-wise here, it's just crazy today. It's I saw it reached as high as 99 degrees Fahrenheit, and when I opened up the weather app on my phone, it said, like, it literally said smoke. Like, instead of sunny, cloudy, rainy, it said smoke. And it's like, it feels like the Middle East.
Have you been to the Middle East?
I haven't, but my wife has, and that's what she said. It also feels like the closest thing I felt is Hong Kong. Like, it's just the air quality's so bad and it's so hot outside. It's crazy.
I didn't notice the air quality being bad. I found it hot, but not that bad. But the air
Well,
quality, I didn't notice.
You're further west than I am.
Yeah, that's true. Closer to the water.
Yeah, that's
Look
crazy.
at Zap's line. Look at Zap's line. Under 37 plus 105.
Yeah, those lines are way better. So congrats on our DGen, and I'm glad that you got a better line than I did.
Yes. He already beat you.
Oh, yeah, you did. It's that's going to be our biggest focus this year. Fat Guy and I were talking about it on the phone earlier, and I posted some stuff in the Discord about like opening lines and closing lines, and if you get a good price on a line from open compared to close, like I think the road teams last season were 61% against the spread if you got on the right side of a line, which obviously is way easier said than done, and it's incredibly difficult, but that's really going to be our focus, because that's essentially the right way to make the most money betting on sports.
Yeah,
So that's going to be our focus this year, is really opening lines more so than closing lines. We're still going to be like doing all the same stuff, closing lines and closing markets, but those opening lines are going to be so important. What's going on, Jamie? Man, everybody's here tonight. Zaps, Jamie,
awesome.
Jackson, Mickey, Untouchable. This is going to be a good stream. I can already feel it. Even Hennick showed up.
I appreciate the compliment, Jamie. We appreciate the compliment. The only thing for us is, like, I think the one thing that I will take pride in is I think we've tried to be as honest as humanly possible about, like, gambling and betting in general, and I don't think that's very common in this type of, I don't know, I guess we'll call it promotion industry. I don't know what sports gambling commentary, perhaps. Oh yeah, DraftKings is for sure a square shop, for sure. Really weird return here from Kez Watkins for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the first look at Nick Sirianni. I kind of like looking at preseason. I don't mind for looking at coaches just to see how they handle a drive, right? Like, it's more, you're not going to get a lot out of let's say something positive, but you'll get more out of something really negative, like if they're disorganized, you know. Like, here's a good example. Like, I remember this is a Hugh Jackson thing. Didn't they get a delay of game penalty on the first play of the game? like that kind of stuff is just like procedural stuff. If you're not good at it, like, you're just gonna lose games. Like, that's enough. Like, good teams rarely make those mistakes.
I can't remember if it was Hugh Jackson or another Browns coach, but I just remember there was like 20 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts. They were like,
that was the run,
goal, and they ran it up the middle.
Yeah, Deshaun Kaiser against Detroit on the road. Then they blew a 13-point lead with 8 minutes left. Know all about it.
Yeah, that game was wild.
Brutal. It was unbelievably brutal. And they got almost no points in the red zone and were somehow up. Yeah. Oh, it was so bad. He was so bad. I'll never understand how that guy literally thinks he didn't get a fair shake. You didn't get a fair shake. You had 2.5 years of not only the worst results, but some of the worst coaching decisions we've seen. Dallas Goedert with a really nice reception here.
Yeah, that throw was on the money from Jalen Hurts. There was a story at a camp that Hurts really likes to target his tight ends, and that's 2 for 2 on his first 2 throws of the game. We also have a nice catch from, I believe,
Nice.
Terry McLaurin.
Is he 17? Yeah, I think he is.
I
Yeah, oh yeah.
believe so.
Yeah, he is.
Scary Terry with a ton of separation.
There's the Rieger drop. We're a few seconds behind Untouchable J. Who's 24? It's Antonio. It's got to be Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, that's Gibson.
Yeah.
He's had a couple early touches. Yeah, that's crazy, Zaps. MLB favorites are 81 and 25 over the last 8 days.
Oh, 8 days. What? 100 games in 8 days? Has that been that many? Holy.
Think about
What a
how
run.
think about how poor the marketing algorithm is to send Jackson DraftKings ads for parlays.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's programming, right?
I've got both games up, so I'm watching both games, Jackson.
Same here. Jordan Howard for the Eagles. Where did Jordan Howard start? Did he start with the Eagles, or is it the Bears? I don't know why I can't remember for some reason. He was in Miami last year, I think. Oh, okay. Did anybody see the pass protection
By
from Jordan Howard?
Yeah, Howard was terrific on that play.
Holy.
Hurts looks so good coming in last year, and he's had an excellent start. Like, I know it's been like 6 plays, but he's already looked very good.
He's got poise, right? Oh man, Washington's on a 4th and 1, and they're not going for it. I'm surprised. Hope to see a fake here. Elliott up for the field goal. Well, this is good for Big Rise under. And Zaps for that matter. I'm more rooting for Zaps because he got a better number.
Yeah, me too. I am too. Who was the favorite in this baseball game? I guess I could just look on my own. I don't know.
He might have an internet connection. You know. Yeah. I agree, Jackson. But the thing is, I try and pull the reins back on Washington because I just like them. I like how their team's built. I like Fitzpatrick. I like strong defense. So I know that I have rose-colored glasses when I think about Washington. So, I think the Eagles could be competitive. That division should improve though. Like it can't be as bad as it was last year. Yeah, okay. And Jay's right. We do need to all be rooting for under 47 in the CFL. Yes, that guy would enjoy that. Yeah, that guy wanted to bet the first pass of the game. So you'll barely see lines lower than 160 at that stage. Yikes. Jamie under 8.5. Angels and Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, like Jackson, he's just to going back to my point, Jackson. It's the aesthetic of the football team is just, I don't know. It's so appealing to us that like I'm trying to like not get too crazy, like because don't forget we like they were unknown to the public, but known to our group for sure at the start of last season. But I think the game that switched the flip was that Thursday nighter against Pittsburgh. It had so many eyeballs on it, and they had a miraculous comeback, right? And the defense, I don't think, gave up any points in the second half. So that, like, I think that kind of, like, yeah, I don't know, it ruined the secret of the strength of the football team's defense. Cam Newton starting for the New England Patriots. I don't know if that's true. They didn't last year, Jamie. We have the data to prove that Washington was a very, very unpopular team last year. But I don't know if some of those things making the playoffs too. But then there's also there's that hater point, like, oh, they've made the playoffs with the worst division, and people are going to argue, like dumb people are going to say, Philadelphia threw the last game. There's no way they did, and even if they did, that doesn't change anything either. Ooh, I'm a few seconds behind, but there's a fumble apparently, and oh, was that in the? That must have been the Steelers game. It looks like they recovered anyways. Bryant McFadden. This is a pretty good D line from the Eagles, actually. Graham, Barnett, Fletcher Cox, and Hargrave. That's not bad. This is a terrible, terrible linebacking crew. Avery, Wilson, and Singleton. And you got one corner here. Anthony Harris had a big season for the Vikings, and then he got the money of the Eagles. I don't know if that translates. Oh, I missed. I took my eyes off, and this is what I'm supposed to be watching: is the football team's defense. I'd say it's 3rd and 8 for me because we're streaming, so we're probably quite a ways behind here. I agree, Zaps, but I think the Washington's offense, it was totally a work in progress, and I think that you're going to get high variance results with them. Oh man, I finally just saw the Chase Young play. Holy, the defense caused that fumble. Oh, we're so far behind. How did he not pick that up? Who's that, Deron Payne? Oh man, football team's defense. Holy.
I don't know if you saw Fat Guy, but I was also looking at Rookie of the Year odds defensively.
Yeah.
And I'm just pulling it up right now as I say this. But
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons is the favorite, but Jamin Davis, who was 4th to start off, has been bet up to 2nd. And
yeah,
that makes he's a linebacker on Washington.
Yeah, Jamin Davis. What makes sense with him though is that holy, that D line looked unbelievable. See, Washington just passes the eye test. They just do. Like for my style of football, Jackson's as well, and Big Rise for that matter. But Jamin Davis, because think about it, you're gonna have to like that play where Chase Young caused that fumble. That was a isolated one-on-one. You're not gonna get that in regular season. And then going back to what Jackson said here, it's weird that they let Cam Newton have the chances of taking these hits. Yeah. They just single. They didn't give any chip help or any double team to Chase Young, and look what happens, right? Like that could have been way worse than what it was. He probably took a few shades off in his hit on Cam Newton. But going back to Jamin Davis, is if they have to double and chip all those guys, I don't really know him as far as whether it's his pass rushing ability, but if he gets the opportunity, he's going to be the guy that will be unaccounted for when they play Washington. If he does, get sent on stunts or some blitzes, right? Like he's obviously going to, play man coverage and zone and stuff like that. But if he gets sent on blitzes, he could rack up a nice sack total just out of opportunity, right? Like there's no reason like I could get 5 sacks with, you know what I mean? Like, with how good that defensive line is, right?
Yeah, it's opportunity is what you're saying.
It's exactly what it is, right? So he took it light on that hit on Cam Newton. He really did.
Do you remember when Freiermuth was drafted? Was he drafted just this year?
Sorry, who?
Freiermuth from Steelers.
I honestly don't recall.
He's drafted this year, 2nd round. I think he was like Baby Gronk was his nickname or something like that. Just my first time getting to see him in action.
Steelers O-line, D-line look horrible for preseason game. Yeah, and they lost and they lost some weight in that category too, in offensive line and D-line. Like they've been perennially good, but they're the one thing I disagree though is a lot of people they're using the last half of the Steelers season as a benchmark for how this season will go. And I don't really think that's fair, right? Like they did win the most games in the row in the regular season. They had the biggest streak, their last undefeated team. And uh well, sorry, I'm rambling here. But I think there was good variance to start and bad variance to finish. Like that Browns game, playoff game, was kind of a freak accident. Like I don't think the Browns coached that game that well, but like so many crazy things went in the Browns' favor. They got a defensive touchdown on a botched snap in the first play, right? Like you want to talk about running good. Like the Browns have ran the worst of anyone, so they do deserve it. But like good variance for the Browns, bad variance for the Steelers to end the season. I don't understand why they think that the Steelers got so much worse, right? The only bad thing about the Steelers this season is the division. The division is unbelievably difficult. The worst team is Cincinnati, and they're how bad is Cincinnati really? You know what I mean? Like I think they are a slightly below average team with a burgeoning quarterback that could push them that extra few inches, much like Murray has at times, and more importantly, Josh Allen has for the Bills. I'm not high on the Bills. I think the Bills are uh, uh, people are too optimistic on them.
Great play by either a nickel corner or a safety. I think that was Harris on the Eagles. But slow decision making from the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. I'm not sure who that is. It must be Mason Rudolph.
Jamie's curious about him getting 27-1 on the football team. I don't know if I like that. I generally don't like betting on futures, but like like if you're doing it for entertainment, like that'd probably be my favorite bet because you get to follow a team all season. So the entertainment utility is out of it. I'm not sure if you got a good price though on that. I would need a lot more for me to bet the football team because you kind of that's almost an assumption that they win their division. Zaps, I'm very confused why people think that drafting an RB greatly improves their team. I agree. I don't know how this hasn't been debunked. That and a receiver, I don't get. It really, really doesn't. You're better off getting a really uh, like a not an average. Not how I put this. An unheralded position. Like the first round pick should be almost reserved to pass rushers, offensive linemen, and quarterbacks. Like that's pretty much what it should be in my opinion. Belichick Jr.'s mullet looking glorious. I haven't seen it yet. Finally got the audio figured out for that game. I'm excited about it.
Nice.
I like these chances. What a great throw by Fitzmagic.
And I know for sure that the Steelers lost Bud Dupree. Is there any other guys off the top of your head that they lost on either line?
Bud Dupree went to Alejandro Villanueva.
Yeah, they lost Villanueva.
He went to the Ravens, and I saw they said he was struggling in practice, but it was like a few snaps. I hate stupid articles like that. And Bud Dupree went to Tennessee, I believe. Those are two big losses. Yeah, they definitely are. But Steelers are. This is one of those things where when I used to handicap the Steelers, I never understood when they had like, they didn't always have a good offensive line in the earlier parts of Roethlisberger's career, but he was so tough and he was mobile, believe it or not, for a big guy. Matt Judon going down for the Patriots, which is really bad, high money free agent. Anyways, but Roethlisberger's mobility and I probably ability to take a hit, his snow dive because he's old, right? And he's probably been hit by more him and Dan Marino than anybody ever, and it's got to weigh on you. And I think Roethlisberger's of the toughest people I've ever seen play. But I mean, you can't just continue to take that punishment. And Russell Wilson is kind of going in that same direction, right? Like I couldn't believe like the Rashad Penny draft. Like, how could they? Oh my goodness! Like I couldn't believe it. They instead of addressing offensive line, I'd rather draft an average offensive lineman than a top 5 running back. It's just not even close. And
Well,
Jackson's
that Rashad Penny pick is like, it hurts them now. Like, I'm just looking at their odds right now, and they're plus 250 to win their division. They have the third best odds, so they're third out of 4 teams right now.
they should be.
To the
They
odds
should be.
makers. But they have Russell, like they have an MVP, like a staple MVP candidate every single year in Russell Wilson, and they're making decisions like drafting a running back in the first round when they clearly don't need one.
And then ironically too, the guy they drafted in the 7th round, Chris Carson, is head and shoulders better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just unbelievable. It's so the Roethlisberger thing that I didn't really finish is that same strategy of laissez-faire with the offensive line. This could be the breaking point, right? And there's it's just a negative trend. They had bad O lines, like Jack said. They really did the second Super Bowl, like, and here we are, right? They did have strong defense, but Roethlisberger as a whole has really declined, and you need more of a support system and time. Time is what you need, really. And the also too is like you got to remember what a high variance gamble it is to allow the chance of your quarterback being hit, because there's no real backup plan if Roethlisberger goes down. You can give me the gears about Haskins or Mason Rudolph. I'm sorry, the drop off is too big. It's not because of physical skills necessarily, but I think experience at the quarterback position as far as procedure and reading defense is just supersedes things, right? Unless you're Patrick Mahomes, right? Or Russell Wilson, who they aren't in any right bad procedurally. It's just their physical abilities can overcome that. But there's like Dwayne Haskins. If you have to go to him, I'm sorry, your chance of winning, are just down dramatically.
The Lions, for me, it's gonna be like really, really, really tough for me to bet the Lions.
You're gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
He says this. He's gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
I'm struggling because that's a team like how everyone feels about the Texans. That's how I feel about the Lions. I actually like the Texans this year, like relative to where they're at.
Okay, there you go. You have to add the caveat.
Yeah.
Big Rye thinks the Texans are 1 win better than everyone else does. That's what he means by I like the Texans.
Yeah.
He thinks the Lions are as bad as everyone else does. There is one thing that I kind of learned my lesson. I remember betting Miami, but I don't know if it's necessarily a bad run. I'm betting Miami that was it the year before last where the spreads were just gastronomical. I think maybe waiting for the bow to break, let's call it, where like you get a really good line. Like I lost on, I think I got on plus 21.5 against Dallas. I was fine with that loss, but the week 1 against Baltimore, when I knew they were going to be bad, that one I felt dumb. Not because I should have taken Baltimore. I just shouldn't have bet that game anyways. And I bet Miami, and they got annihilated. So that's being results based. But I do feel that was a no bet game rather than just a bet game, because I think, that created great prices going down the line, right? Because they got destroyed. But then they turned it around. They were an okay team by the end of the season, right? So, okay. Man.
I like the Texans without Watson, but I'm saying, like what that guy kind of mentioned, is the OU for Houston right now is 4.5 wins, and I think that's too low. I think they're like a 6-win team.
Yeah.
Like,
so you think are 1.5 wins better?
Like 6, like a little bit higher than 6, a little bit lower than 6.5, just off the top of my head. The reason that I like Houston, and there's some logic to it, is that the Patriots historically have had success with signing veterans. And what I mean by that is that when free agency comes around, they're not usually looking for like that big splash. Like they're looking at guys who've finished their rookie contracts and that they can get for slightly more than what they would have been paid as a rookie. And these are guys that are coming in with experience and that can play multiple roles and multiple styles and have success. And I feel like Houston has done that. So the big bet in my head that I'm making, and why I think that they're better than people think they are, is that I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to this new coach that they have and the coaching staff. I think
Well,
that
I think that's a bit far.
I think a lot of people think that. Like I don't. I think I'm alone in this because I don't hear anyone advocating for the Texans thinking like every person I heard or talked to thinks that the Texans are gonna like pretty much lose every game.
I like the Texans over, but I like it for. I think the coach is probably going to be pretty bad. That's my guess. I like or below average, let's call it. But I think it's more what you said that you're going to get some. Oh, there's the finally we saw the field goal from Washington. Under is in play, but I think it's professionalism of the veterans. They're really bad. Like we're agreeing that they are a bad roster. They're a bad team. They're one of the worst defenses in the league. But I think, like Big Ryan mentioned, in the fourth quarter, you're going to have less mental mistakes, perhaps, from some of these guys. Like you're just going to get wins with bad veterans, or sorry, veterans rather. And I think the over, and considering also too, I always say this: bad news is good news. Can there be worse news? It's a 17-game season. You can't win 5. You know, like I don't think it's that unreasonable. Playing the Jaguars twice too. Like I always say that word wrong. What do they do? What are they against the Jags? At home, 52%, on away, 40, 42, 43. You know what I mean? Like that's not that bad. You know what I mean? You run that enough times, you're going to land on 1. You know, you can't pick up 4 other wins. You know, and even then too. Let's also talk about their division. The Titans and the Colts aren't really built to blow teams out. So like you play teams that keep it kind of close in their strategy. Like I imagine the Colts are going to become more of a run team than usual, and I would imagine that the Titans are going to stay that way as well, right? You need a couple lucky things to go your way, and I think that's more likely playing a team like that than getting picked apart by the Chiefs. Yeah, but this is also too. We're arguing over like one win, right? like you think they're at 6. I think they're probably at 5.5. You know what I mean? And this is without combing through the schedule. I just think there's small value. The only argument I could make against betting against them is Najee Harris trying to hurdle didn't work out. The argument I could make is that you tie up your money for so long. You know what I mean? Also, too, there's one other thing I got to remember. When betting over-unders for win totals, it kind of assumes that key people aren't going to get injured. There's a silver lining for Houston. If someone gets injured, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, it's kind of like teams with similar strength quarterbacks between the backup and the starter. They're better. They're better over candidates because the serious injury can't affect them as much.
Tunsil would make a difference. Like Tunsil is a really good left tackle, and if he has
Sure.
to miss time and Roderick Johnson is going to play at left tackle instead, that's going to be a problem. But they have less. They probably have the least amount of high end talent. I'll say that Houston probably has the least amount of high end talent, but I think they have very, very good average talent, and I just think that average talent isn't going to lead to the worst team. Like there's teams.
Well, no, they could still very be the worst team, but we just care about them being the over/under of 4.5, right? Yeah. 5 might be the worst record in the NFL. I believe it's Tyrod Taylor, Mickey Hill. Nice run from James White here.
And that's another reason why I think Tyrod Taylor is a pretty respectable quarterback to have as a guy that just needs to step in and play decent enough. They also have Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills, a 3rd-round pick from this year. So, there's the other assumption that I'm making, and this is an assumption, is that they're going to try to be competitive because there is a chance that they go, we don't want to be competitive. Like maybe they start Davis Mills for the entire year. And that's just how it is. Like that's
what you should do.
That's what they should do.
But will they? That's the other thing. Like, they shouldn't make any bones about it. They should just invest as much money in an offensive line. Who cares about anything else? And start your third round pick at quarterback. But that will they do that? No, it's sports, right? Because it's kind of like that would make Dave Culley Jim Tom Sula, which he might be a sacrificial lamb, right?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, they could, Zaps, but we both know like I'd give you 20 to 1 on that right now, Zaps. It's probably not gonna happen, right?
Tyrod Taylor's career, he's 24-21-1, so he's positive, but let me see if I can find out.
I don't know if the Lions are going to be worse too. That's it. It's an interesting. It's a race to the bottom. I, I'm I'm the least bullish on the Jags, and I've loved them for years, but I don't know. There's just something about it that's rubbed me the wrong way.
So Tyrod Taylor, it says, is 50% against the spread, but they've only have no, I think they've got all his games because he's played 46 games, so they pretty much have every game he's played. So he's 50%. He's average against the spread.
So he is who they say he is. Denny Green. Jeff Driscoll is a similar type quarterback to Tyrod Taylor. Who's running that offense? They don't have an OC, do they? Wow. Arizona's on my radar this year. I don't know. That's the best division in football, I think, clearly. I don't remember a division as good as that one. Was it NFC West? I always get that mixed up. I don't know why. Quinn
Yeah.
Nordin.
Arizona's got the worst odds in that division, and they're plus 607 to win that division.
Important question. Is Chase Daniel still in the Lions? I don't think so. Big Rye, you keep in contact with him?
Yeah, Chase and I are really close. He's actually on the Chargers this year.
I would think top end. Well, I mean, if you were to graph it, obviously 60. There's a chance the Texans could go 16-0. I think we'd put it at what 1 in 10 million, maybe. Chances they go 0-16 are probably 1 in 60, maybe. So it would be. But what would the median would be is what we're arguing, right? But a lot of 4s and 3s. I think it's 5. And then one deviation away would be, you know what I mean? I think 6 is still more than one deviation away.
Well, I think 6 to 3 is kind of their,
yeah.
Depending on how things go, how many turnovers they have, how many turnovers they force, how many times does a Steelers center hut the ball out the back of the end zone? Like, there's things that can go either way, but like 6 to 3 wins is kind of their. It's going to be there.
Well, that's the argument, though. Is there a value on over 4.5? And we're making our case for over, and then the chat's making their case for under, which is, what it actually is doing? It's reinforcing 4.5. Yeah. The market is there, right? So I still feel strident. Joe Flacco sighting in Philadelphia, everybody.
They actually don't have the win totals up for the Houston Texans at the moment.
Watson would be his status. I'm going to grab some sushi. I'll be right back, gentlemen.
Okay. But last I looked, it was 4.5. I don't know if I've tracked anywhere of what the juice was. I've only tracked this so far. I think that's fair, Jackson, because there's just so many things that are like outside of football that you're trying to consider with some of the really, really good or really, really bad teams. And then Zaps, The thing that I don't like about the Lions is the coaching. Like, I just think, like, I've already got them in my head as the worst coach team. And I think that, what's his name? Dan Campbell, to me, he's just not a head coach. And, like, he did a fine job coming in, but, like, he just seems like more of a raw guy. I'm not a fan of Anthony Lynn. I don't, like Aaron Glenn is maybe the lone bright spot. What a play. I don't know who that was. 16, is that Watkins? That was the same guy that had that return. So, nice touchdown here from the Eagles. And the Pats hit a field goal. Quez Watkins. The thing is, like, the Lions might have a really good offensive line. And then with a good offensive line, Goff could have success. At receiver, they're fine. At running back, like, they've got decent depth at running back.
Nice start to the under here, Big Rye.
Yeah, the Eagles just had a, I don't know if it was a reverse or a screen, but they just had a long touchdown.
And maybe the ugliest kick I've seen. Point after kick. Nice blocking. Ooh, 21 got torched. He had the angle on him, too.
Yeah, he just got burned.
He got burned.
Just a simple screen. So the blocking is there, and the speed got it.
He's a returner, this Quez Watkins. He might be sneaky fast. That 21 got just annihilated. I like this Zaps comment. Goff doesn't have the talent to function without good coaching. I think that's true for a lot of players, and I think him in particular. And this, you're not going to be able to talk me. No one's going to be able to talk me out of like the biggest discrepancy between the Lions and the Rams is coaching. I haven't seen Dan Campbell yet, but you can't. McVay is right at the top. McVay is in the pinnacle right now of good coaching. Who is it? It's Belichick, Harbaugh, him, and
I'm gonna always include Flores until he proves me wrong.
Until he proves you wrong. I still think Flores has to do a little bit more to get there, but he's in tier 2. So, yeah. So McVay, Belichick, Harbaugh. I have a soft spot for Tomlin, even though he's not really an X's and O's guys. His teams perform every year, so. But I still think he's tier 2. But as far as Dan Campbell's he's got to come out of the basement to convince me otherwise.
Mickey with the infamous Mike Lombardi quote: "The problem isn't that they don't know what they're doing. The problem is they don't know that they don't know."
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, it's just
Nick Mullins is the 3rd string quarterback for the Eagles. What?
That's pretty nice.
Nick Mullins is, I think, deserving of a backup quarterback role. Am I wrong?
I don't think so, and it's one of those guys that if he gets cut, there's a good chance that another team.
I would be fine with Nick Mullins being my backup quarterback. He's got actually pretty good stats, to be real here. Oh,
and Jackson, I remember those Dan Campbell coach games.
Oh yeah,
and it's I don't even know how Dan Campbell's name came up whenever coaching interviews came up, and I always was laughing that he was even considered. And like, Dan Campbell might be a terrific coach, but I haven't seen it.
He doesn't pass the eye test for you. And this is what sold me the other way is like I particularly don't like Jim Rome. I don't know, his cadence bothers me, but he talked about him and Dan Campbell particularly like they were gods in their first few games, because I think Dan Campbell started off 2-0 and they beat the Patriots. So he made it like, and he's like, yeah, and they listen to Metallica. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything, right? Like, you can't make this guy this big badass coach because they won 2 games, or the Chargers won 1 playoff game. I don't know. It just, it's very early judge on those guys, and I think Anthony Lynn did a horrible job last year, and Dan Campbell I don't have high hopes for. He's to start at the bottom to convince me otherwise. Excuse me. That being said, I won't be. I'll be betting on Dan Campbell's team for probably 13 weeks, is my guess.
Yeah,
And I
unfortunately.
agree with Jackson. I would much prefer Nick Mullen over today's Joe Flacco. Yeah, Mac Jones in for sure. Why didn't they call it? Oh, it's the first quarter. Sorry, I jumped the gun there.
So Mac Jones in a quarterback for the Patriots, targeting Jacoby Myers here on this play.
That was an ugly pass, but it was complete. So,
That was an
oh, they called it a
exceptional.
drop.
They called it a drop, but from the replay, that looked good. That was a really, really nice catch.
Wow, great catch by Myers. Zap, San Francisco versus Detroit, biggest coaching gap between two teams I've ever seen. It's possible. It really is possible. Then again, I'm sorry. Harbaugh versus Hugh Jackson
I was
and
gonna say
Belichick versus Hugh Jackson.
anybody
Nothing will
versus
beat that.
anybody
Nothing will
versus
beat
Hugh
that.
Jackson. But there is a gap. Like there is going to be a
Significant.
noticeable coaching gap. And I'm looking at. I've got the Detroit roster up. Offensively, they like from a talent standpoint. Offensively, they look okay. Defensively, though, I don't know. I just feel like there's just not a lot of there defensively. Like I don't like Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins are kind of like their two pass rush guys.
That is
Deshaun Hand.
really.
They picked up a Levy on was
A Wanasaur?
something no on was Uriki. He's a second round pick from this year, but he's a D tackle,
okay.
290. I'm not sure if he's going to be a pass rusher.
Well, their big pass rusher is Romeo Okwara. He got 7 or 8. Yeah, this is pretty bad.
Oh yeah, he's listed here.
Um,
They have two Okwaras. They have Julian and Romeo.
yeah, they're brothers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At least I think, are they cousins, brothers? It doesn't matter. They're related. This is okay. I'm looking now too. This offense looks okay because this offensive line
Yeah, the
is not
offensive
bad.
line is like
It
Penei
looks good.
Sewell could be.
That was a good pick.
Yeah, like he might be one of the top. Like he could be like a Quentin Nelson-esque, come in and just dominate right away.
How did the Bengals pass on him for Jamar Chase, a third receiver? T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. That's good enough. Okay, I gotta say, I don't really care about receivers, but this is the worst receiving room I've ever seen. I'm gonna say it right now, being hyperbolic.
What,
Rashad Perriman,
Tyrell Williams.
Tyrell Williams, I'm okay with, but he's been hurt. He hasn't played really in 3 years. Khalif Raymond, who could barely make a team. Quintez Cephas, I don't know him. Equanimous St. Brown's brother, Amon Ross St. Brown. Victor Bolden Jr., Damian Ratley, Geronimo Allison, who I did like for Green Bay as a 6th receiver. This is horrible.
But to me, like
Rashad Perriman,
it's below. It's definitely like way below average, but it's whatever. It's a receiving corpse.
It is a receiving corps.
Is not
it's the
gonna
worst
make
one
much
I've
of a
ever seen,
difference.
though, Big Rye. It
Yeah.
shouldn't make much of a difference, but I'm still going to give it that tag. It's the worst one I've ever seen. I have to look at the Texans for reference. Like, maybe I don't see the culture shock because I've conditioned myself. I need another like good gander, even though I've done this like 10 or 15 times.
Well, I'll pull it up as well. So at quarterback, it's most likely going to be Tyrod Taylor. If Taylor gets hurt and can't play, then this team's in big trouble because I don't think Jeff Driscoll
No,
And I haven't
Jeff
seen
Driscoll
Davis
needs a
Mills.
defense.
I haven't seen Davis Mills play yet, but Davis Mills is not like it's way too early for me to say. I haven't seen the guy play yet.
This is a better defense than Detroit.
Yeah, the defense has talent.
Well, okay, that's the defense is.
It's an experienced defense with talent. They're not going to be like overly good when it comes to rushing the passer, which will be tough. But they've got a lot of depth there. Like they've got a lot of
I think
depth.
you're getting a little bit carried away with calling it talent. I think they have a defense that could possibly compete. I think it's the depth that you're 100% right. Like everyone here has NFL experience. Everybody. Like going the whole way down just about. So like Keon Crosson's their fifth, Terrence Mitchell, Vernon Hargraves, Desmond King, Bradley Roby.
They're strong. They're strong at corner. They've got a lot of depth. They've got a lot of depth at linebacker. Because it goes back to them saying like they could have two corners go down and they'll be just fine.
They'll be fine. This is a weak D line, like very weak. Linebacker's okay. It's okay.
Jackson disagrees. He says other than Cunningham and Merciless, it's downhill from there.
Whoa, nice play by 35. Wow. I don't think their corners are good, but I think they're deep and okay. This was a nice play by 35 on Washington. That was awesome. Oh, maybe he did way less than I thought. I don't know about this O-line. They're not good on offense. It's a bad team. They're deep at. Look at this running back room. David Johnson.
Backs are deep. The receivers are deep.
Yeah.
Andre
Roberts.
The interior offensive line is not good. That's their biggest issue is on the interior, and at tight end, like,
forget it.
It's whatever. Like it's not a strong tight end group.
It's strong. I think that's very not as strong as a euphemism. They're very bad tight end. I think this running back room is interesting though. David Johnson, Mark Ingram, Philip Lindsay, Rex Burkhead, but it's just running backs. Like I don't really care. You know what I mean? But I mean, as far as like that, think about those guys are all getting not paid very much except for David Johnson. That's how you build it. Like that's an okay running back room on the cheap, I think. You know what I mean?
Cully comes from Baltimore. That's his background. And I just have a feeling they're going to be pounding the rock with all these guys. Like they're probably only going to keep like 3 out of these 4. But I just got a feeling that those guys are going to be like 15 carries each, I could see.
Yeah, but you have to be winning to do that, Big Rye. Like,
but even when it comes to spreads, like it's okay. I think there's value there.
Okay, but there's potentially value on covering for Houston. Yeah, I mean we're all going to be taking him. Nice field goal for New England here.
Yeah, by Nordin, who I'm not familiar with.
I think he's a rookie. They're probably going to lose somebody, Jackson. I mean, it's probably a little bit too expensive for him, but I mean, they just signed Ingram. I don't know. And like he said, Cully came from Baltimore too. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to sign him to cut him. I think if anything, maybe it's tough to say. Are they in cap trouble though? No.
On their initial depth chart, which just came out today or yesterday, the Ingram and Lindsay were listed as
at the top. Like Johnson's the one who's really, I think, on his way out there.
But to me, I really don't care because all 4 of those guys can play, and they're just going to take the 2 guys that still have legs.
Yeah.
That's really what's going to happen.
If I were them, I'd use all 4 running backs and probably some Buddy Howell too. Like, mind you, I don't want to dress 5 running backs. So I guess I'm going to dress 4. They're going to play special teams. I mean,
you know what's awesome about what they've done is that you could have 4 of these guys and bring them through training camp so they pick up your offense and know what's going on. and then you can cut 2 of them and bring back a guy in like week 6 when one of these guys
Yeah, they're not
gets
going
injured.
anywhere. I don't know if it's awesome, but that's a strategy for sure.
But
But
the
like,
thing that
what's
sucks
the goal
is,
here though? Like, what we've already said, just start Davis Mills. You had no draft picks this draft. Just start again next year. You
oh,
know what I mean?
if it was you and I, this team would be
Dramatic.
it'd be blown up.
It already is blown up, but I'd be signing every offensive lineman prospect just to try and get good at that position. That's really it. That'd be the position I'm just trying to get good. I wouldn't care anything about defense. Like there's no redeeming qualities there to like to carry over. So I'd be trying to get every interior offensive lineman I possibly could. You know, and I don't even know how Titus Howard has been as a right tackle because he was a reach as a first round pick.
Well, it's safe to say that Houston's been not like Watson's been the most sacked quarterback, so it hasn't been good. But also, how much of that is on Watson? How much of that was on the coaching staff? The coaching staff's gone. Watson is probably not going to be playing, so I just have a feeling this is going to be a much different run team, different strategy.
Doesn't mean better though.
It doesn't mean better, but I'm just going to go out on the limb and say it doesn't mean the worst.
I like how we always get this. I love it. It's fun though. It's part of doing these. You find interesting points, right? Like there's two games on. Neither team is Houston, but we're enamored with this debate about, you know, is the line fair for the over a season win total?
70% of our football talk this preseason has been about the Texans, whether it's Watson,
Yes.
whether it's about the team, whether it's about their total. So it's a team that we've spent a lot of time talking about.
Yeah.
What I really don't like is that Watson is actually in camp. Like, but we've beat this like
We've beat
horse.
that. Yeah.
Another impressive kick. I feel like after last week's kicking debacle, like anything looks good, but this is like what's expected in the NFL.
Well, it should be. Jackson, I love that the debate is about who's going to be the worst in the league. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
So at the top, it's not much of an argument. Well, I mean, people get crazy about that kind of stuff, but like, if someone said that Tampa is better than the Chiefs, I'd be like, okay, sure, no problem. You know what I mean? Or I can't even think of who else specifically, or I guess Green Bay. I mean, yeah, okay. Or the Rams are going to be the best team in the league. Yeah, I can believe all those things, right? And I think there's arguments for those. This one is like a tangible one. Is 4.5 a good number? Because it just seems awfully low, right? And then you look at the lineup and you kind of get it, but at the same token.
Oh, I finally get a look at this mullet, and it's spectacular.
I really can't believe Belichick didn't retire after the last Super Bowl win. I was actually just going to ask about Tampa. How do you feel about them compared to last year? That's a great question. I think that I liked betting against Tampa early in the year last year. Like I really liked it because the Tom Brady hype was so high, and then it died down. And I think I started picking Tampa. Like I actually did. I did Tampa. I probably was more successful on last year than any other team. Big Rye, would you agree with that?
I'd say so. I think Tampa finished as the best team against the spread.
Well, I think I was right on more Tampa games than any other because in the beginning I went against them most games, and I think I did well. And then I started backing them. It's more of this has to do with perception, right? And then when we did the ultimate fantasy, I took all Tampa players just because I thought they had the best chance at playing the most games, and they did. It happened to work out for me. So as far as this year goes, I think the hype is going to take longer to die down. But I think they're going to have similar type spreads that New England had with Tom Brady when they were good, and I think that they're going to be negative against the spread. I still think they're going to be a good team. I just don't think they're going to be covering numbers. as much uh, as often as the price is set. Or sorry, I think the line's going to be set too high for them. I still think they're going to be 11, 12 win 11 win team, perhaps 11-6. That sounds about right to me. 10.5 is probably the right line for them. But I think the perception is going to be too high and it'll carry out. And also, too, I don't like Tampa's chances of. I don't think they're as strong of a blowout team as Kansas City is, right? So I think they're less likely to cover a big number. Whereas I'm starting to get in these theories where I think there's a lot of times that we bet the spread, and I'd much prefer taking, the dog on the money line, right? Like Jameis Winston, he was the guy where I kind of developed this theory on where, it's just a high risk quarterback. Like when you're the least likely thing for them is to actually cover. He's either going to win or lose, right? But I kind of like that because then it offers unseen value, right? Because they'll set this number that shouldn't really even exist in a vacuum because the number shouldn't be congruent with the win probability, right? It's like one of those things. It's not linear and it doesn't stack on each other, right? Well, it's a probability, Jackson, right? Like everything went their way. They have a good enough roster to win the Super Bowl. Like it's obvious. They have good players. They're a good team, but like the Tom Brady just is the luckiest guy in the world, and it's this success that's attached to him, right? Like obviously Tom Brady, I love that his preparation. I understand that like how much work he puts in, but he's also been a benefactor of a lot of run good, right? And I lost for years betting against the Patriots against the spread, like years, hand over fist. And I think I got it right like it happened to go my way with Tampa last year. And I think I'm going to be betting against them. My guess, 15 of the 17 weeks, because the perception just has to be too high, right? Like, yeah, they could win again, but like, I'm not going to get a good price on Tampa Bay after last season. Tom Brady's in great, like think of the square money. They don't care about the number. 6.5, laying 7.5. They don't know the difference between 6.5 and 7.5. So that's going to create this market that I think is going to be very, very overvalued, and perhaps even more so than the Chiefs. The only thing is the Chiefs the last few years is the blowouts. The blowouts have given the bettors, I think, more confidence, I guess the words are. So the Chiefs probably are going to lose a little luster. So there are going to be times when there will be value. And like the Chiefs are the only team I've seen where like laying 14 or 17 isn't absurd. Aside from like the 2011 Patriots, that team was probably the best team I've ever seen. But they might lose a little bit of luster. And I think they've kind of been superseded in terms of unrealistic expectations by Tampa. So yeah, I went on a long rant, but it's all about perception, really.
Tampa's biggest thing is going to be staying healthy because they've had a lot of players return, which is great. But think about those are all players that have eaten up snaps and eaten up experience. So the guys that are sitting behind those guys, if they have to come in and play, like there's a certain level of expectation for them to play well. And I don't know if these players that are sitting on the bench that haven't been playing as much as the other guys are going to be able to come in and play if there are injuries.
I don't think they're a deep team whatsoever, but I'm gonna have to be refreshed myself, and I'm gonna bring up the depth chart in front of me right now. Yeah, so like, especially on defense is the one.
Their defense is very talented. They showed it last year in the playoffs. Just player wise, they kind of all peaked at the same time. The strategy was great. All of that went their way. On the flip side, like in the Super Bowl, they got to play a Kansas City team that lost both starting tackles and had a hobbled quarterback, even if it is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. That just goes to prove you a little bit of hobbled Patrick Mahomes. I will say this though: this offensive line as a unit, I believe it's played more snaps together in the last 2 years than anybody, and I think the last 10. Because I think they've had complete consistency and fluidity at offensive line. Like it's the same group of guys. Oh, except Wirfs was last year, so I
Well,
got that a little bit wrong.
you said that too, and I'm looking like their offensive line depth is like it's not there. Like
It's not there.
there's the only player name I recognize is Josh Wells, and that's not like a good recognition. That's just I recognize the name.
No, no,
They
no,
they
no.
have a third round pick in Robert Hainsey, who might be able to come in and play snaps, but the rest of those guys like if Donovan Smith goes down, like left tackle is going to be.
Well, then no, then you have to move Wirfs over, and then I don't know who plays tackle, right tackle. Like it's not a great situation here. So I don't know. They have this weird thing though that they kind of mask is uh I kind of like this. They have a nice tight end room, and these are two-way guys. Like you can say like, oh, whatever, Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate is a two-way player who is a decent blocker. Rob Gronkowski is a two-way player who's a decent blocker. Both players, Gronk's not nearly the receiver that he was, but I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find guys that are that much better at blocking. And OJ Howard is a throw-in, so they're going to be able to run packages. And Tom's so smart that they can kind of like they would be able to mask it, but that's probably the worst thing. Like offensive line injury would be bad here.
I'm gonna shit in your cereal here because reports are OJ Howard hasn't looked the same coming back from injury, so he's still not 100%. And
he
still,
barely played. He barely played last year, though.
Yeah,
and
then Gronk's a year older.
Yes,
and like I feel like Braid just like there should be more there. I feel like he takes like a small step back every year, plays a little bit less. But Cameron Braid's been a good player.
It's targets. It's targets. You're talking about fantasy production.
Yeah,
that's not really a big deal. You have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. Like you shouldn't be forcing targets to Cameron Brate, right? So that room is pretty good. Like even Scotty Miller,
it's got way more at least like name brand recognition depth than any other tight end group. That's for sure. But like the biggest strength for Tampa is that players are returning. That's really their biggest strength. Everybody's a year older, but they do still have like young legs on defense. Like I've been saying it for years that their defense has a lot of talent, and then last year it just all came together.
It came to fruition, absolutely. But it was like lightning in a bottle to a point too, like because they looked their best, right? But the offense was also humming too, which always part and parcel. Tired defense is always a bad defense. Going back to what Zapp said, that Bears game. I mean, that's just one instance. But that was the most money I bet on a game last season was the Bears against the Bucks, and nice. That was a big day. All the stars aligned in everything that we do to bet on the Bears, and I hate the Bears, but I don't hate the Bears. I really don't like Matt Nagy. Is he still there? Sorry, I lost my mind for a second. He is, isn't he? Yeah, he is. He totally
Nagy's still the coach for the Bears.
Yeah. Maybe controversial, but I don't mind a bet on New Orleans to win that division. Dylan will be happy. There's a pot like if they really go for it, like we kind of saw it in that touchdown pass that Jameis Winston threw in I forget what game it was, but they brought him in for a weird sub package. If they find a way to make this bizarre two quarterback system, if there's any team creative enough, it's the Saints, right? And they've kind of been running a pseudo version of it for years. And this is the time, really, because neither guy is going to be able to replicate Drew Brees, especially Drew Brees in his prime. But, I mean, you might be able to get the same type of production out of some weird sub-packages of using both quarterbacks or each alternatively. So there's a chance that this could be interesting. And it might be stunning enough that it could result in success throughout maybe 1 year, maybe two. Why isn't Devonta Smith in close and playing?
I think he's hurt. I think he's got.
Of course he is. Every receiver. I can't stand drafting a receiver in the first round. It's just a waste. Even if they're really good, like really good, it doesn't really help you. Anyway, sorry, that's another time for another day. But it's kind of like when Miami won 11-5, won the division. The only time the Patriots didn't during the Brady Belichick era.
And Dylan came on and made a proclamation. I can't remember what it was, but how many wins did he say the Saints were going to have? Was it
I I
13?
I don't know. I'll have to get him locked up for a big bet. Maybe I'll have to get him to send the money to Mickey and escrow. I
But
know mine's good. I don't know about him. He
the
did pay last
OU
time though, instantly on PayPal, and that was impressive.
the OU for them last or the OU for the Saints win total this year is nine and a
9?
half.
I thought it was 9. Is it bad juice on the under though?
Let me take a look.
No, I don't think so, Jackson. I think Baltimore is.
Saints under 9.5 wins is minus 224. So a ton of juice.
Yeah,
So
okay, so it's 8.5 then. That's easily a full game. 224. Please.
yeah, that's
That's 8.5. That might be 8. I don't even know. 8.5. 8.5 with slight juice on the under, I think, is what that translates to. Mac Jones has an unlovable face, but I always like that. I like guys like that because I don't know. I look at it in terms, I'm like, I think other people think this, and then they're gonna bet using that stupid bias. It's kind of like the they did a really good job, the screenplay writers for Moneyball during that the Island of Misfit Toys, showing how like perceptions of guys, kind of like I always thought Jay Cutler was like that. Like, but then also Jay Cutler, I really didn't live up to any of his potential. Yeah, that's what Big Rye said. I didn't actually see Jackson, but yeah, a 9.5 is a minus 224 under. Yeah, so what is that? 8.5 minus 130? Where does that translate?
that's a that's a mathematical question that would take a long time to figure out. We don't have.
Not too long. We could do it, but we're not gonna. I think my estimate's pretty close. Thank you. I think I'm up on the Panthers again though. There was the reason I like their over on the win total is because like I'm anchoring a lot to one of the games was the game against the Chiefs, but like instead of just playing to be competitive, they went for it against the Chiefs and they did really well. They didn't win the game or anything. They did cover, but they really tried to win. And I like if they're gonna do that against the Chiefs, they're gonna know to do that against other teams. I'm surprised at the Darnold thing. I don't really get it, but I'm just gonna trust it. I liked what I saw last year from Matt Rule, and I've been a little bit of a pseudo Panthers fan. Atlanta's another interesting one because they actually have a good quarterback.
The I when you were talking about good coaches too, it was really hard for me to leave Matt Rule off that list, but he's up there very high for me.
So far, though, we haven't seen a big enough sample. But I thought he did a great job last year.
But I know Jackson shares this sentiment that like it sucks that they lost Teddy and that they've replaced him with Sam Darnold. Like that's not a decision that I would have made personally, but I guess we're gonna see how they can move forward with that this season with Sam Darnold.
yeah, maybe Sam needs another chance, Jackson. Like, I can kind of get behind that. I guess there's, I guess gambling on that, considering it's considerably low risk, kind of makes sense. It's just something I wouldn't have done. I would have used Teddy as a stopgap, you know what I mean, and try and improve my defense. But the thing is, can you really ever get a signal caller? And I guess they're trying to, yeah, gamble on the upside. That makes more sense when you kind of put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys just said. It's because like I like Teddy, but if your goal's to win the Super Bowl, do you want Teddy as your quarterback? I don't know.
We like Teddy because he's going to cover. You know what I mean? What you just said makes the most sense. He's not going to be able to do that.
I think Teddy could win a Super Bowl, but you'd need a strong defense. And
Well, anybody could win you, but yeah, he'd need an exceptionally strong defense, right? And run game. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't think the Bills are a good team, but like Josh Allen can beat anybody by any amount.
yeah,
So
that's
like
true.
what does that mean?
Well, that's we had that discussion last year about like how much coaching can matter because Josh Allen didn't look this good when he came into the league, and he looks like a completely different player now than when he entered.
Well, here's a good example. Think of because I don't like his in-game management, Sean McDermott, but think of the other guys in that draft class. Sam Rosen can't make a team. Baker Mayfield is whatever. Lamar Jackson coached up to the best of his possible abilities by arguably the best coach in the NFL. And uh, Josh Allen done just the same. Sam Darnold, not paired with not exactly good coaching, not very good results. He's on a second team now. So, that's even more important than the player that, you draft, as you mentioned.
Really nice grab by Sims in the Washington game. They're going to hit the 2-minute warning. And we are in the final 2 minutes of the second quarter with Pittsburgh, I believe, first and goal from the 6. I know they just had an incompletion, but it might have been
Almost
a
an
flag in the
interception.
end zone. Yeah, probably a pass interference. I'm guessing they're at the 1 now.
Nice effort.
I'm not sure what back that is. Anthony McFarland Jr.
Long hair. I remember him with long hair.
I'm trying to remember. Did he get hurt last year? Because I don't remember him being as part of that like rotation of guys who played.
Oh, he played. He played. I am sure he got hurt at some point, but they had a lot of underwhelming running back performances. They didn't really run last year. Who's the other one? Benny Snell?
Yeah, I remember Snell playing. I'm just trying to look at Anthony McFarland's numbers last year. Yeah, he had 33 rushes and 6 catches, so he did play.
Jay waving the white flag. One run from. Oh, there's still 3 runs to go, Jay. It's pretty early, though, and you're probably in trouble, but. 2 touchdowns and a half. Craziness.
It almost feels that way.
Yeah. I love, like, I don't even know where you buy those pencils. Like those really like old people pencils, like
Like
the kind my
like
dad
a
like.
like a golf pencil.
No, 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 no. They have like this specific look to them, like the green metal foil. Like it's something my dad would have, and he's had for years. And to sharpen it, he uses a knife. Of course, Bill has one in his ear. New England's taking a timeout here. Okay. Some of these numbers are confusing me though.
What do you mean?
The number switches, a lot of 40s and
Oh yeah, the player numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw Matthew Judon's rocking a 6.
Yeah. You know, you have to, if you switch your number, you know what you have to do?
What?
You have to buy all of the remaining jerseys that are unsold. Um, that are unsold for uh that are out there to switch your number. So like for some guys it's like over $1 million. Well, I can't imagine a worse reason for changing your number. Or sorry, I can't imagine a worse stipulation.
So, you have to clarify what you just said.
So each player, if they want to switch their number from whatever they are now to a new one, they
Yeah.
have to buy out all of the remaining jerseys that are available for purchase.
And how many jerseys do you think they make that are?
Well, some of them for, I think it was Elliott. It would have cost him 2.8 million. I think it was Elliott. So like, or it might have been Dalvin Cook. So like, can't exactly do it. Whereas Matt Judon switched teams, so he would have first option at it.
I'm trying to think why they would make 2.8 million worth of merchandise to have just sitting around. That doesn't really make
I
sense
guess
to
that's
me.
the stock, but
Second and 10 for Washington on the 13-yard line. Oh, I think that was. Oh, Ricky Seals Jones.
Ricky Seals Jones. That's an old name. Okay, so it's Mike Florio says it would cost Cook about 1.5 million. It's still absurd.
So is it the NFL that decides they're going to make this merchandise?
Yes,
I'm not.
yes, because they have
I'm
to buy back
confused.
all the other ones.
Like, I guess it depends on the jersey, but I know some jerseys you can just like take the stitching off and stitch on whatever you need. But
Yeah, but that'd be too much work, right? Whereas a machine can just reprint them.
big time completion here. 20 seconds left in this game. They still have all 3 timeouts, so I'm going to guess that Washington's going to use a timeout here.
That was a bailout throw. The announcer is very pessimistic on that. Oh, this is a big play for you, Big Rye. What's the live? What's the
Live's
live line?
30. So I'm guessing they're probably going to score here because the OU is at like 27 just a few minutes ago. The Pittsburgh Philly OU's up to 40 live, so that's not looking very good. We've got a 50-yard
Jake
field
Elliott's
goal
been
here.
hitting every kick. You got the benefit of missing them all last time,
Yep.
and now it's the other way.
All 47 plus at untouchable. He's been good
Wow,
so
that's
far.
crazy. He's a good kicker, though. He really is. I don't know why finding a like in my mind, all kickers should be within 5% of each other, and maybe they are, but it just from the eye test, it doesn't feel like that.
Well, the thing is that there's just not enough kicks for it all to even out because it
I
would
guess
over
that's true.
time. But
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I
if there's
mean,
only
some
40
guys
kicks in a season, there's going to be some variance.
that is true though. What you just said.
Tucker's the one that's just unbelievable. He's been very,
Yes.
very consistent.
You might get lucky here, get no points from the football team.
Yeah, it could happen. I think it's unlikely, but I think it could happen. He looks to be in.
Well, I'm a few seconds behind. I don't know why you wouldn't just run the next two plays, especially with a timeout. I guess, are you really trying to score? Oh, he's for sure in. Taylor Heineke leading the drive.
In a backup role, Heineke played well last year.
He had a good game against Tampa in the playoffs, I thought. Oh, they had Peyton Barber running. Oh, so good.
It'd be so unbelievably hard to play running back in the NFL.
For a full season, like the body damage, yeah.
And like not even just body damage, but there's like so many guys, and there's just so many replacement level
Oh,
guys
every
that can
year,
step
yeah.
in and play. Like,
Well, I mean, you're looking over your shoulder constantly. You know, it's if you're a good quarterback, that doesn't really happen. Like you don't have to worry about you. There's like 30, 25 other teams that are going to pay you $100 million if you're a good quarterback or more.
so just Washington alone, they've got Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, Peyton Barber, and Lamar Miller. And Peyton Barber's supposed to compete for snaps with those other three guys. Like it's tough.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. And like he's not like Peyton Barber's not horrible. You know what I mean? Like,
He's a respectable early down back.
yes, that's a fine way of putting it.
Gibson can play any role. Lamar Miller can play any role, and McKissick is a good receiving back. So it's tough to be a first and second down thumper. But
That's why I always argued, like when we talk about running back contracts, like let's see, McCaffrey's what, like 16 million a year. I can probably, if I was a coach, I could probably match his production for $2.5 million with five different guys. Like not quite match it, but get close enough where, you know what I mean. The resources could be used elsewhere.
yeah, you wouldn't want to have 5 active running backs on your roster on game day, but I know what you
No,
mean.
but
You could space it out between a few specialists.
four. You know what I mean? Like you really, really can.
Yeah, I know you always talk about that Saints backfield as you love their
The old one,
versatility.
it was unbelievable. It was Ingram, Pierre Thomas. I missed. There's two guys I'm missing here. That was a long time ago.
I
It was
always remember the
2011.
the Chargers when they had Tomlinson, Michael Turner, and Darren Sproles, I believe, was their
Yeah,
combo. That's a pretty damn
yeah.
good combo
The
too.
only thing is the one guy is so good at everything on his own that like
It didn't
you
matter.
know didn't really didn't really matter. Michael Turner though was a nice one though. Yeah, here we go. This was it. Ingram, Pierre Thomas, Darren Sproles, Chris Ivory. You got it. You got the whole thing. You got the whole shebang there. Get everything. It was 2011 Saints.
Well, those
Fantastic.
guys like were all in their prime too. That was the other thing. It's not
Not
like
quite. They were getting there. Like Ivory and Ingram are 23 and 22, or 22 and 23 rather, whereas Thomas and Sproles are 27, 28. So like pretty close though. Yeah. That running back room was unbelievable. And it's like an unheralded one. No one cares about or knows.
yeah. So we're at the half for both games. The OU for Pittsburgh Philly is 39.5 with the under being at minus 120. Washington New England, the OU is at 29.5 with the under having more juice at minus 111.
So you're looking good on one, bad on another. Sounds about right.
Yep.
Are the Olympics done? Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they finished on the 8th.
Shows how much I know.
Yeah, the U.S. ended up winning the medal count with 39 gold medals, 113 total.
Sounds about right.
China a close second with 38, and then Japan at 27.
Kind of like though, like if you think about in terms of population, like Europe smashes, right? Like is Europe? How many more people are there in Europe than the United States? 50 million, maybe. You know, they do pretty well.
When does Russia get to officially compete again as a country?
I have no idea. No idea. Russian Olympic Committee, ROC. It's so funny. Like, what a weird, like, flex.
Uh, so it ends December 2022. It's like, so what does that actually mean? Like, what does it actually mean? So they're not in, like, because like the athletes all still get to go. Everyone obviously knows it's Russia. Like,
Yeah, but it doesn't count to their legacy. I don't know. Hey, Mickey Hill's back. He said he watched less of the Olympics than ever this year. Me too.
I did as well. I, you know, what's interesting to the Olympics for me is that I found it really hard to find Olympic events, and I don't know if that's because of where it is or just because of the coverage or how much the Olympics is. Golden Panda, what's going on, guy? The and yes, you do win for watching Zero Olympics, but I found it just hard to find the content, and I know that the Olympics has like a really strict policy Like, I know a lot of people that were posting stuff on YouTube, it was getting taken down and pulled off, and like every country kind of has its own rules on what you can watch. And like if it's that hard to watch, people are just not going to watch it. That's really what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
We had that argument about streaming with a friend of ours about the UFC. And one of the points he did say, though, is like, well, a lot of people just wouldn't watch if it, he couldn't stream it illegally. I guess that's true. That doesn't make it right, though. But I don't know.
Well, there's
Mickey, I watched about 30 minutes in passing at my office. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, should we? Are we obligated? I almost didn't watch any.
Well, I've apparently watched the most out of the four of us. The what's interesting to me, as far as the UFC goes, because I remember one of the writers highlighted this, and I think it was like there's something like $1,400 to be a UFC fan and watch every event for a year. Which
How much?
is, I think it was like 1,400. I'd have to double check to see. But
I
because
thought you paid monthly.
Well, this is the thing, is that it's just not one. Like, that's just for. There's the UFC Fight Pass. I don't know if the Fight Pass includes pay-per-views, but I guess it does. And then
maybe not if it's 1,400.
Because there's that. Then there's like, I think they have stuff on Fox Sports, and then I think there's stuff on ESPN. So like, to have all of those things, to be able to watch every single event, it was something like $1,400. So like, it's just the, just I don't know a lot of, like, I don't have a lot of friends that have $1,400 that want to watch UFC. Like, people find different ways of watching, whether it's going to a bar, whether it's finding some sort of stream. So there we go. They add the events to the Fight Pass a month after the live show. So that's
what good is that?
Well, it's the same experience that we had with the NFL. Like, if you want to have a NFL Game Pass, you can't actually watch the games live, but you can watch replays of the games.
Oh, that was such a
just
joke.
After. Yeah.
Dazin's lick balls too. So.
Well, that's the thing that sucks too, right? Because Dazin, at least in Canada, you have to be there. If you don't watch it live, you can't watch it again, as far as I understand. So you need to have two separate ones, one to watch it live. You need another to watch replays. And so
there was a
kind of
certain time frame for replays on Dazin. So I can't remember, though. I mean, I've had it for years. I just haven't used it. My dad pays for it now because he watches EPL. So I was a whole mess getting that set up on his TV, but I digress, as they say. But yeah, the service. I don't know why the NFL just doesn't sell its own product. I think you can for a time, Panda, but
well, here's the other thing too, is that NFL Game Pass, you can watch condensed games, and you can watch different camera angles, and that's not offered on DAZN. So you might be able to watch replays, but I'm not sure if you can watch condensed replays or
no, they don't exist on DAZN.
That's the problem, right? Because now you're having to pay two separate companies just to be able to watch.
You need a VPN for Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass isn't even offered in Canada, so you need to find a workaround to be able to use it in Canada.
Yeah, I think you need an American credit card too.
Possibly, not too sure.
I got an American bank account this year, and I don't think it's gonna be hard pressed for me to get down there to use it.
Yeah, that's true. Welcome back, Jackson.
Yeah, we got a nice little crew here going. We're at halftime here. Big Rise looking good on one under and bad on another. Sounds about right. Got a CFL game coming up in 20 minutes that I have a financial interest in.
I'm running out of real estate here to watch these games. I see the baseball game is up to 10, which is
that's a push for Jay. That's a loss for Zaps.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I'm not going to change your mind, Golden. I think as many people that can be fans of the CFL, the better.
Yeah, yeah. Not that we care or watch, but
It's actually an interesting argument to be had that if the NFL players played under the CFL rules, it might be a better game. The CFL is, from like just a rule standpoint, is more entertaining than the NFL, and there's more strategy that can go into the CFL, which I find interesting. But the level of play is definitely better in the NFL.
that's not even close. Remember, I chatted with my brother-in-law. We had a reunion this summer, and he talked about him playing in the CFL, and he goes, my offer was 50 grand. He goes, I had 2 degrees from UBC. Why would I do that? And he goes, and my body was getting destroyed playing this game. And there it is. Like, a first round draft pick getting paid $50,000 a year. Like, what?
Yeah,
Like, how are you supposed to support a family? I don't understand.
that's really
I get that
rough.
it's part time, but like, I feel bad for the CFL guys. They're firemen. Actually, firemen's a great job, but they have part time jobs. You know what I mean? Or they're working in the off season. It just, it's just a financial hump that they won't be able to get
Yes, I guess it depends on the person, right? Some people 50,000 a year is decent money, so
Wow.
it's worth it. But for some, it's definitely not going to be worth it.
It's gone. He got his contract offer 2007, I think, or 2006. So I think it's like 62 now. But like, so what?
Sports
I
are
don't
just
know.
so unforgiving. Like
Yes.
if you're not a professional athlete, it's really tough to
Well,
make it.
even the Olympic athletes, they're probably getting there on donations, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's not a free ride, right? Like, and then the guys at the top are getting too much money. Well, I mean, that's paved with thousands of people that were just good enough, but got hurt or for whatever reason had a personal travesty and just didn't make it. It's just bad. Just it's just bad luck for a lot of those guys. It's just tough. Um, like that's why the market is what it is. And there's that Talib book about the best job in the world is a dentist because even a bad dentist makes 300 grand a year. He's right. Um, an unfulfilled athlete makes $0 a year, right? Same with a musician who didn't make it, right? Dude, this guy John Runyon is huge. He's Eagles Ring of Honor. I don't know who this guy is. He must have been a tackle or something. This guy is huge. And he's a congressman. Yeah, he's 6'7". Okay. Say he's huge. He's an inch taller than me. Mac Jones still in? Fantastic. Get more of a look. That's poor Jared Stidham. He had a hope to make it in to start last year, and then that's pulled out. And then this year, like with uncertainty around Newton, it was a possibility. Now then they draft Mac Jones. Tough.
The Pats game's still at halftime, so I'm not sure. Unless you know, Mickey, I can't tell if you're asking or saying. No, it looks like I can't tell. It looks like he's starting the half. Oh, it's back on. So my stream's just behind.
Yeah, we're way behind. I still seeing
Oh,
Maurice
there we go.
Jones-Drew
I just saw
with
the
his feet
kickoff right
dangling.
now. Oh, you're watching live? Okay. That's awesome then if he's still playing because I don't. To me, the preseason's just the most exciting part is getting to see some of the rookies play.
I think Maurice Jones-Drew would need a booster seat at a restaurant.
He was one hell of a running back, though.
He really was. I got to admit, though, what's the highlight of Maurice Jones-Drew's career is knocking out what's his name? The San Diego Chargers outside linebacker, Sean Merriman, when he when he blocked him and just KO'd him. That's got to be the highlight.
Well, especially wasn't Merriman's thing all about like lights out?
Yeah. And the irony of it was so perfect. Do you see that block from 64? Just dive over the pile. MJD is 5'2", standing up and laying down. He's probably right. He got tough yards though, MJD. We liked him.
He was a staple of that team's offense for years.
Yeah, the Jags, and then lesser extent the Raiders. I'm just thinking too. I looked at Jordan Howard's career because I was so confused. He left the Eagles and then he came back.
Yeah.
There's another guy like it sounded like Chris Collinsworth. He's okay. You know what I mean? You pay that guy $700,000 a year. You're gonna get production. You'll get some goal line production too.
The thing with all these running backs is like Jordan Howard was a legit, really good running back. Like he had 2 very productive seasons to start out his career, but then you always have to question like how healthy are these guys? Because I've been sucked in so many times by a guy like Howard, because you just look at the roster and you go, this guy's had the most success out of any of these players, and then you're like, no, but like he's just not the same. Like it doesn't take much in the NFL as a running back to go from being like, you know, a top 15 guy to essentially.
How about Le'Veon Bell, number 1, maybe the best we've seen, to not even a thought.
He looks completely different. Like he got signed by the Chiefs and like barely even got on the field.
He got 2 touches. Carries.
Oh, it's insane.
Then
yeah,
he
like getting to watch Fields as well on the Bears. Like any of these rookies, Wilson on the Jets, obviously Trevor Lawrence, like all these guys, getting to watch them all play in the preseason is super, super nice.
I think Wilson's a little bit behind as far as rookies in development. So there could be some ugly games for the Jets coming up. Not that they aren't used to it.
But that's fine. Like that's what the preseason's about, is getting out there and making mistakes. Like these games don't count essentially.
No, I mean in regular season, but
yeah,
we got a botched play here by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mac Jones standing in the pocket, making a good throw on the, I believe it was 3rd down.
I'm behind you at some point for some reason, 3rd and 3. Jackson, I have Wilson as the worst QB in the league, but I can easily change. Yeah. I would say that's probably accurate. I think I agree with that.
The Jets with Saleh as coach is going to be interesting.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him.
It's going to be 5-star entertainment to watch those Jets games.
Yeah. Jets have good O-line, man.
Nice job by Dobbs. Oh, man. This is masterful.
No, that's Dwayne Haskins, Big Rye.
Oh, that's Haskins? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Dwayne Haskins, but that was.
He just terrific. Had a terrible. He had a bad play, and then he switched. Then he redeemed himself.
But
a
major broken coverage by the Eagles.
J.J. Taylor with a big collision for the Patriots. Look at this hit.
Is that Sony Michel playing in the 3rd quarter of a preseason game?
No, it's JJ something. Taylor.
No, you're behind me. He just took the next carry.
Oh, he did?
That's not a good sign.
Oh, yeah,
Saleh. No. Saleh's just been like, he's been one of like the hotter names or better coaches. Like obviously they have a ton of. He's got to play with a lot of talent or coach a lot of talent, but I also think that a lot of people are going to feel the same way you do, Jackson. Like, I think people are going to be higher on him than a lot of the other rookie coaches just because of he's been in the limelight. He's one of those coordinators that gets highlighted as a coach. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand that sometimes. How often is the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator highlighted?
All the time now.
All the time now, but I feel like, it's
Last 2
always
years.
it's always like Andy Reid, and now all of a sudden we're
Eric
seeing that.
Bieniemy or whatever. Yeah, he was very highlighted the last 2 years. Never mentioned. I don't know if he had it before then. Well, Andy Reid, he gets plucked more so than anyone because his guys have happened to have more success, right? Whereas like Patricia and McDaniels have been disasters. So, but then they use those guys, whereas Flores has been fantastic. Patricia was really bad.
Just think about how bad of a strategy it is to take your ex coach's players and just pay them more than what they were worth.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a losing.
And that's Bob Quinn. That's not even him. The guy who kicked the field goal tapped one of the Washington players on the back, Quinn Nordine, and then the guy turned around like what like what are you doing? Harold Carmichael made it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What? I think he's the tallest receiver ever to play, Harold Carmichael.
I was just Googling him to find out more about him.
I think he's 6'9".
I'm just waiting for Mickey to drop us some knowledge on Harold Carmichael.
I didn't think he was that big. He's 6'8". Him and Brian Finneran, I think, are the tallest ones. Yeah, but I don't think he had that good of a career. He got the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 13 years in the league. 9,000 yards. It's a lot, but I don't know. No rings. Not that I care about that, but they do.
In 1973, he had a season where he had 67 catches, 1,116 yards, and 9 touchdowns in 14 games. That's pretty damn good.
It's pretty good. He's only got 4 Pro Bowls.
73.
I don't know. This seems bizarre if he made it to the Hall of Fame.
He also had 79 touchdowns in 182 games. That's pretty damn impressive for a receiver.
That's up there. Where does he rank though in the all-time though? Like,
it's got to be low, but he played in the 70s and 80s. Like,
I guess
the stats.
70s is a lot different because they could really rough you up there. 4 Pro Bowls. I don't know. That's surprising to me. Ring of Honor, sure, but like, I don't know. I'm surprised at that one.
Mickey said it here. You got to use numbers relative to his era. And when is Andre Johnson eligible?
Well, that's got to be the close one, right? Like, he was top 5 at his position pretty much his whole career.
Andre Johnson stopped playing in 2016, so I think
next year,
this year or next year.
Nick Mullins in. There we go.
So
I think he's eligible for
20. He's eligible next year. Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt are also eligible, and they didn't make it. And Anquan Bold and Steve Smith will also be eligible in 2022.
That's a log jam.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys are very similar. Who's the best out of like? Who's the most deserving out of those? Bolden,
To
Wayne.
me, Wayne Holt and
I think Holt's the
Johnson
lowest.
are the top one.
Johnson's in.
I think Bolden and Smith are a step down for me.
So step down.
Yeah, like below Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt, and Andre Johnson.
I don't know. I kind of disagree on that one. That's weird.
I'd have to see all their stats lined up, but
Reggie Wayne's got to be the front runner and all of that. But like, I don't know. Bolden's had a pretty good career, man. He's a top. I don't know.
it's that's always going to be the debate for any player, though. It's like career versus like peak.
Steve Smith had a. I think he has better numbers than all those guys though, aside from Wayne.
I guess Reggie Wayne didn't make it because they talked about Bolden, Steve Smith, and Andre Johnson are eligible next year.
Well, they're gonna wait. They're probably gonna have to wait a couple years then because of like the log jam. Like the first ballot receivers have only been Rice and Moss. I think that's it, which is apropos. Those are the two best. So
Was Calvin Johnson a?
oh yeah, and Calvin Johnston now, yeah. Jackson's got a good point here about you play with Peyton Manning, like, come on. The one I can't believe though is Marvin Harrison. Like there's that murder in Philadelphia that was
Linked
like
to
they
him.
have well, I mean they have video of the guy running away and you see the guy running and you're like, that's not a regular guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've never personally the suspect running away in this video is faster than anyone. I've never seen anyone run like that in my life. He had a gripe with the guy that died, and he had already previously shot the guy that died, too. So I mean, who knows? It's all alleged.
You know what's crazy about that is that what if he didn't do it and all these things are pointing towards?
Dude, you'd have to get like the freeze. You know what I mean? You ever seen the freeze?
No.
You'd have to get the freeze to commit this murder. I guess that would be like the freeze is probably my favorite sports promotion ever. You have to look that up. It's some guy in like a weird onesie jumpsuit. He looks like the THQ guy in WCW NWO Revenge.
Yeah.
And he has to race a fan, but the fan gets a huge head start. I don't remember what baseball team it is, but it's like for sure my favorite thing in sports promotion. And yes, Jackson, Ray Lewis, I mean, 2 guys went to jail for contempt of court for lying about him. So, I mean, it's not up to us. Isn't O.J. Simpson in the Hall of Fame? I mean, but he did that after. So there's that.
I watched the ceremony for Ray Lewis, and like he got the mic that was attached to his head, which was already so funny because
pastor?
Yeah, because every other guy like went up before him and had like a normal mic, and then Ray Lewis comes up with like a coach's headset type of pastor mic, and all the guys are like, what the fuck is this? Like, how come Ray Lewis had to do like a side deal with the sound guy to get a special mic. And then also Ray Lewis had like the handkerchief, like the sweat towel, because he's running around yelling stuff the entire time.
Oh man, so he's a super preacher or whatever.
Oh man, it was spectacular.
I don't know if they did, Jax, but I can assume Ron Goldman got it in the civil suit. Mickey Hill was in Atlanta the night of the Ray Lewis incident. Did you come across the suit, the white suit? That was the missing evidence or something.
And having your rookie quarterback play this far in will keep people in their seats.
You missed that. My CFL game is starting.
I wonder if we're gonna get uh, live odds on the CFL game.
There's an amazing pic of three guys hanging out of a bar wearing OJ Lewis and Hernandez jerseys. Wow, there's a bar. What was it? The Super Bowl before last, I saw Lewis and Hernandez. They were missing the tryout, the trifecta though. Yeah, it sure is. Now, if you find a guy with a Lawrence Phillips jersey, then you really got a sicko on your hand.
It's a contrarian fan squad.
Yeah.
All those guys were like wildly popular too. Like these are,
But they were good.
yeah.
OJ was awesome. Like really good. Telvin Smith, I'd rather be a murderer than what he did, Jax. I got to be honest. Allegedly.
Is he
And this
back?
is so no.
Is he
And this is
done?
the sick part too. Oh yeah, if he's not done, I'm not watching. Like ugh. He was my favorite linebacker. Ask Big Rye too. I feel betrayed.
Well, the same news came out with Barkevius Mingo. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. He's done too. Mickey, it's in the worst possible realm that you know of. I'm not gonna say it on stream. Everyone has Google. Well,
So the Pittsburgh Philly OU is going to be
over.
a loss. So that's 0-1.
The Olympians are being celebrated in Calgary. I don't think I've ever had a CFL game queued up.
I think
Like
that's
ever.
fair. I before the fat guy and I started doing what we do, which was about 2013, is when we started doing this seriously. I was a big CFL fan. Like I went to a lot of the BC Lions games. I watched pretty much every game on TV. Like not the whole league, but like the Lions at least. And the CFL is fun. Like it's fun to watch. It's fun to follow, but just hasn't. You only have so much time in a day, and it's fallen out of my schedule.
I haven't been to a game. Oh, I went to. I can't remember the last CFL game when Ricky Williams played for the Argonauts. It's the last one I went to.
There hasn't really been an NFL player that I can think of that's come in and had a lot of success. I know there's been like CFL to NFL players that have had success, but
Either way, I don't know. There's Warren Moon. I don't know when he was like the best. Isn't he the best CFL player of all time?
I guess him and Flutie are the two success stories.
I think Warren Moon won 6 Grey Cups in 7 years, something like that. He's in a bit of hot water now too. So never meet your heroes.
Yeah, never start a sports marketing company, huh? Yeah, the BC Lions is our local team.
Yeah. He won the Grey Cup 5 years in a row. My mistake.
I didn't know that.
What?
I didn't know that
What?
he played in the CFL for that long, but didn't he have like the record for all-time passing yards between the two leagues? Like
No, Anthony Calvillo does.
no, like between CFL and NFL, like all
Oh yeah,
together. I
yeah.
think
That's
he
not
was
saying
the.
much though. He only played in the CFL 5 years. You okay? So
So
he
sorry, he played 5 years and he won 5 Grey Cups.
yes.
Okay, that's.
That's
I didn't know that.
that's. I thought it was 5 and 6, 5 in a row in 5 years.
Did he win any Super Bowls?
No.
Was he close? Like, did he make a Super Bowl or was
Um,
he in the playoffs at all?
no. Bill Russell, the CFL. Yeah,
It's funny
he
you
was
say that,
good
Jackson,
though.
because that's who I had in mind. Because I always say, to me, Bill Russell's the best NBA player all time, and I know that's controversial, but like, the guy
He,
won.
10 and 11. Forget it.
Yeah, what did he? I think he won 9 championships in 11 years, or it's like 11 championships
It's
in
10 and
13
11.
years.
It's 10 and 11.
It's not 10 and 11. It's something else.
And he was
I'm
the
pretty sure
coach
it's
for some
9.
of them.
Well, if he was like a coach, then. Bill Russell's 87 too. Yeah, he won 11 titles in 13 seasons.
Oh fuck! Holy jeez! And didn't he go every year except once or something?
Well, then he won 2 as a coach. Oh,
Ooh,
so
bad punt.
sorry. 2 of his last 2 or his last 2 NBA championships, he was a player coach. That's why it says.
It's like funny. It's like what LeBron wishes.
Well, it's essentially what he is. So, according to his stats, Bill Russell averaged 22 and a half rebounds per game. Average.
It's ridiculous. Average. What's his high then? 40. I mean, if that's your average.
Let's. I'm guessing we're not going to get a pro basketball reference for Bill Russell, but.
Mickey Hill, I think 50. Oh, I can't even. That's like so absurd.
His best average for a season was 24.7.
That's more than most people stars get points. Like, okay,
In
maybe not that, but
in 19,
probably then.
1960-1961 NBA playoffs as a 26-year-old, he averaged 29.9 rebounds a game. In 1961, at age 27, He averaged 48 minutes a game, so he never came off for anything. And he averaged 22 points and 26 rebounds.
I'm going to agree with Jackson, though. There were a lot more missed shots back then. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, he has to have some sort of crazy, well, yeah, in February 5th, 1960, Bill Russell grabbed 51 rebounds in a 124-100 win over the Syracuse Nationals.
It's like so ridiculous.
Also, I just noticed this because I didn't know. He was the second pick, so someone was picked before him.
I want to know who's picked first. Who's the guy picked ahead of? Was there a guy ahead of Jordan and Olajuwon, or was Olajuwon some other guy and then Jordan?
Bowen C. Green was picked before Bill Russell.
And Dwayne Haskins, I keep looking over and seeing reasonable plays out of him. Sam Bowie, there you go. Sam Bowie. That was Bowen, yeah. Olajuwon is a pretty good player. Like, I actually got into the NBA playoffs. Like, I don't know, it was a good bonding thing with my girlfriend, and you know, it's nice to have like share sports, right? So that's the one she likes. So I just adapt to it, and you know, it helped. I took a bunch of action on it, which, I mean, doesn't hurt, you know.
Elgin Baylor was selected 91st overall in the same draft.
All right. This happens, man. Tom Brady, 6th round, 199. I got 3 games going on.
Oh, the much less popular Jerry Bird. He only played 11 games.
Kadeem Carey is playing for the Stampeders.
Yeah, this is crazy, Jackson. Elgin Baylor had a season where he averaged 38 points a game.
That'd be the most. Is that the most ever? It's got to be
38 points per game.
Oh
18.
no, Will Chamberlain's got more, right? I'm sure Elgin Baylor's points were a little bit more difficult to get than Will Chamberlain's, though.
Yeah, 1961-62, Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points a game.
That's just so absurd.
So Baylor was 4th in the list behind three Wilt Chamberlain seasons, and Baylor's season was only 48 games.
Yikes. Mac Jones just got sacked by like 4 guys, collapsed on him. It's not really what you want to see. Started off the football game good. 2 3-and-outs.
That's good.
Oh, they're challenging pass interference. I was just going to ask you, Jackson, how do you have 48 and a half minutes per game? Like, do they have longer quarters back then, or
Well, my assumption is that a handful of those games went to overtime, so it just means that
he just never left?
probably.
Yeah, that was my next guess. He played every minute plus overtime. That's pretty nuts.
I was reading like different. It was an older post, like I think it was the end of June, but it kind of went over like each stadium's like mandate that they had for people, Mickey. So I think it's different depending on where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, why would they leave the game?
Like,
And you
think
gotta
about
have
how
no wonder they look skinnier though. Like you, dude, the stamina. I don't know
well,
that.
it like athletics then compared to now are completely different. And like those guys were just so dominant that like you could take an entire quarter off and it's not going to matter.
And played every
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
that's yeah. There's definitely a different level of toughness. But those guys did it for the love of the game. Like those guys couldn't have been getting paid that much money. Like I know they probably got good money relative to other things that they could have done, but like that's the thing now is that like all these athletes are with so much money that they're gonna just sit out because they want to extend their careers.
That is very interesting, Jackson, if that's true. Well, I mean, Russell was probably more of a two-way player. Not that we saw them, but everything anecdotal that I heard. Haskins is getting a lot of face time in this game. Unfortunately, Calgary won their challenge. Their drive is continued.
I I watched some of Bill Russell's highlights and it's unreal.
Man, Haskins is having success here.
Good. I think I think that's the funniest part, Mickey. Not only did he play 48 and a half minutes, uh, he averaged 48 and a half minutes. He never got injured, and he also slept with 10,000 women.
Yes.
Like, eventually, you got to have some time to rest and relax.
Not if that's what you like, man. Do what makes you happy. I like one is enough.
Well, the interesting thing, out of those 10,000, how many were he on top?
Well, I don't know. I had one banner year, and I think 2007, like a banner year, and that was enough for me for forever, forever. Like I'm good. I don't know how you could keep that pace up for that many years.
I like Jackson, the women per minute. That's what we need.
Yeah. Wasn't there like a registry where they had to write? You know what I mean? When it like if they did or not.
10,000 is just such a comical number.
It's possible. Didn't Ric Flair claim that too?
It's comical. Like it just is.
It's possible.
So
That's I mean,
so fat guy, you and I have been alive for about 12,000 days.
sure.
And you can take what do you mean what do you mean sure? That's fact.
Okay, yeah.
Sure. the So we take those 12,000 days. Let's take off maybe let's go 365 divided. Let's say 11. What's that? Or 365 times 11. It's 4,000. So really, you've had, if you started young, that's 8,000 days.
Yeah, that's insane. But '07, I had like a 40 or a 50 year, and I felt gross after. And that it's never been even come close to duplicated since, and I haven't tried. So I can't imagine how you would want to keep that up. Not to mention how many, like, if you really came across that many personalities, like something, I'm surprised, like, I would think that you'd get murdered by someone, but within that time frame, you know what I mean? That many interactions with people. Because think about it, like to pick up that many women, you're gonna need like where do you have the time to, like, how do you do it? You just I don't know. The logistics aren't making sense. I'll agree with you. Oh my goodness, Dylan. Here's a guy who definitely won't break that record. Dylan doesn't want to ruin his ego. Of all people, that's rich coming from you, Dylan. Really nice catch in the football team Patriots game under review here. I got too much going on. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm a one-track guy. Oh, Mickey with a request.
I'm curious what it is.
Wants the fro pick.
Oh, I can do that for sure. I keep it on standby.
You should. I know why.
Yeah.
Lucky Whitehead's on the lines. You're looking good on the under. It's only 16 points on the football team Patriots game. There he is, Purple Rain. And Dylan commanding a lot of weight here.
Dylan coming in here talking smack about Jackson, who's been defending the New Orleans Saints while Dylan's away.
Yes.
Glorious. Purple rain or purple haze. Oh. Dylan, the real question is, if you had 24 hours with Fat Guy, what would you do with him?
Yikes, man.
I don't know why I spent so much time.
Really nice run.
I don't know why I spent so much time pulling up Dylan's picture when I could have just shown my desktop background.
Yeah, I know. Stevenson, some running back for the Patriots, had a really nice run.
Dylan, can you refresh us on your top 10 this year?
Yes. Man, this 38's not bad. These nice 2 runs for the Pats. That's generous from Jackson. I don't think they're top 10. I'd go like just off like without having a in front of me 14 maybe. Ooh, the Lions kicker is Takiro Yamasaki. I like it. 3 runs in a row for the Pats. Holy, the kicker missed like a 20-yard kick. This game 0-0. Look at Dylan, man. I'm afraid to ask Dylan, but how are we looking downstairs if that's what you got going on upstairs? I think they just had 4 runs in a row with this guy Stevenson. 38 from hey, where is what's his name? 3rd round pick? Harris, Damian Harris? Where's he been for this Patriots? Because I expected him to take the starting job. He must have it locked up.
I think he does have it locked up, and I think he might be out with an injury.
Stevenson 5 runs in a row. Oh, he still has the Saints. I'm mistaken. I thought you had the Saints at number 2 with the Ravens number 1. Of course not.
Dylan has the Seahawks high, Washington high as well.
Yeah. Okay. The field I didn't know Big Ryan missed field goal gets you 1 point out the back of the end zone. I didn't know that. I thought that was a punt.
For the CFL it does. Any ball out of the end zone. So like it could be tied. You could be at the 40-yard line and you could just punt the ball out of the back of the end zone for the win. And I've seen games where like they'll have a returner back there and the guy's like right on the back and then he like the end zone's like 30 yards. So then he's got to run the ball out like 30 yards. But like you can run anywhere, so like the end zone is huge. It's very interesting. Like in the CFL, you like they'll be on the 12-yard line trying to score, and you'll get like these 30-yard bombs. It's interesting.
Yeah, 14's about right. Maybe 12 on the low end.
The ironic thing, Dylan, is I think whether Fat Guy wins or loses, he's not going to have fun.
Yeah, I think you got it. All I know is I cashed checks last year. Hey, wait, who won the fantasy league, Dylan? Who won the Saints bet? Oh, right, I did. I don't know if you checked the scoreboard, Dylan. Fat guy is in the positive. You're in the negative.
Is Winston going to be starting? Like, is that
They don't
have
know.
they been leaning to Winston? Because I always thought it was like Taysom Hill. I guess the real question is, does it matter? Because both guys are going to play. It's Taysom. The Taysom Hill story is quite a story, though, to be going
Oh, he's unbelievable.
claimed off of waivers to a possibly
He's
starting
fun.
quarterback.
He's got to be one of the funnest players to watch. Like in terms of like intrigue, because like it's more like it's the team's more interesting when he's on the field.
Well, I'm just thinking like he's a pseudo tight end quarterback running like he's just this hybrid player, and I'm laughing because like Tebow's the same way, and like Tebow is somehow back in the league and like almost a non-story, which I find surprising. Well, apparently Thomas and Sean Payton had like they're back in good graces with each other, but I think he's going to be out for like the first half of the season. He could miss weeks.
Holy BC Lions on second and inches made 2 stops. It's 1-0.
Nice. The I know this is something you didn't talk about on stream, but do you remember if the first Lions play was a pass?
Yes, it was.
And what was the did you have any odds on what that
No,
was?
no, no. I didn't take that. The guy obviously knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said first play of the game. I was gonna try and get him to give me like 10-1 because like there's if he might know the Lions, but there's a chance that the Stampeders win the coin toss or get the ball, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do a run play. Yeah, top 20 is reasonable for Jameis Winston. Who's worse? Okay, Winston or Fitzpatrick? There you go.
I hate a lot of this stuff because to me the answer is always it depends.
Yeah.
Like I would rather have Fitzpatrick on Washington,
Yes.
but I think I'd rather have Jameis on the Saints.
I don't know. I don't like the Bills. Stafford, Wilson. Is Jameis Winston better than Garoppolo or no? Brady, better than Darnold, better than Ryan, no way. Better than Goff, maybe. Cousins, no. Fields, probably. Rodgers, no. Hurts, probably close. Prescott, no way. Jones, yes. Fitzpatrick, it's close. Tua, he's better than I would say.
Well,
I cook almost every night, Dylan. I cook multiple times. I'm a homebody. I really do. I do also like cheeseburgers, though.
this might be like a very, very like. Here's a very, very simple way This is very simple, very rough way to see where Winston's value is. And I'm going to look at quarterbacks in front of him for MVP odds. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's 17. So he's tied for 19, sorry. He's tied for 19th with Derek Carr. 20th. He's 20th. So I'll list off the guys he's behind. He is behind. I'll start with the closest to him. Roethlisberger, Tua, and Cam Newton are all in front of him. He's tied with Carr. Burrow's slightly behind him, as well as Hurts and Garoppolo. And then guys that are like definitely in front of him: Watson, Cousins, Tannehill, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Brady, Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, Prescott, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes.
A-Rod's 2? Yeah.
He's 2 for MVP odds at plus 970.
I'm surprised he's ahead of Josh Allen. Jimmy G is better, not Carr. You're getting more realistic, Dylan. Like it's kind of nice. It's refreshing. Because remember the old days, buddy? It was always the favorite. You'll lay any amount of points, But I think that's changed quite a bit. End of the first quarter, CFL game, 1-0 BC.
That's an excellent start.
Yeah, he's maturing, Mickey Hill. I agree. Yeah, none of us are big Carr fans, so I'm starting to lose my luster a little bit for Gruden, but I still don't mind the Raiders, but they're just average. I thought they would have taken steps by now, but
to me, the Raiders are the biggest surprise on here. They're plus 1867 to win their division. Like, that just seems way too high. That puts them as this is rough too, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 teams worse than them as far as division odds go. So that puts them at what, 27th? I don't know if the Raiders are the 27th.
No.
Best team. And I know like a part of the reason why their odds are so high is because the Chiefs' odds are so
short.
Or you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, the Chiefs' odds are short. Theirs are long.
Yeah. So it's I just find it interesting. But Carr equals check down Charlie. Carr's numbers, I think his NEA numbers were actually really, really good last year. But I guess it goes back to the eye test. Like, I feel just like in key situations, he's made poor decisions. But they beat the Chiefs too. So he's not a dud. I just don't think he's consistent.
The Raiders gave the Chiefs the best run. They went 1-1, but they were very close to winning the other game too. What was that game against? What was Miami? Right, the epic collapse.
I'm not the.
You don't remember? They brought Fitzpatrick in at the end, and Fitzpatrick got a face mask. His helmet was pulled sideways, and he dumped it to the sideline, and it was a completion. You remember that game?
Say that all again. Sorry.
It was Fitzpatrick came in to close the game, try to come back for Miami. And I forget who it was, but someone face masked and pulled his helmet sideways. You remember that? And he just dumped it down the sidelines, and it was a completion with 15 yards for face mask. And they end up winning 21-20. I think it was 2018, and they only had 30 seconds left. Mickey, I had Raiders. Yeah, I think we all did. And that was just bad. We were all annoyed.
So Carr finished last year tied for 8th in NEA with Tom Brady. So from a statistical analysis, the guy was pretty damn good last year. Like he had a better NEA than Kirk Cousins, Phillip Rivers, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Fitzpatrick, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray. Like this is like it's high. Like you wouldn't predict that he would be up here. And he went 8-8. Like it's not like he went like 5-11, but I'm the first person to say I haven't been just a big fan. He only threw 9 interceptions last year.
That's an improvement.
27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
That's not bad. That's a low touchdown total, but that's not bad. And the Raiders put so much in their receiving room again, didn't they? Because they drafted 2 guys last year, and then they signed. I might be mistaken, but
well, they've got Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, Hunter Renfrow. Those are all guys that
they drafted.
They're
yeah,
drafted.
I guess that's not really anything.
Then they've signed Willie Snead, Zay Jones, and John Brown.
Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah,
free agency.
John Brown.
It's, overall it's actually quite weak.
Yeah.
And then they've revamped their offensive line. They kept Colton Miller. They released and re-signed Richie Incognito.
Yeah, that's good.
They they drafted Alex Leatherwood with their first round pick. They also picked up a nice safety in Trevin Mulrig early in the second round who fell. But then like Andre James and Denzel Good. They also have Nick Martin and Patrick Omame. So it's going to be
they have Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, Yannick Ngakoue is nice. They've got Max Crosby. They've got Carl Nassib. They've still got Clellan Farrell. So
Solomon Thomas they signed.
Yeah, they've got like up front they're good. They spent some money to get Corey Littleton, and I felt like he regressed last year. Like it didn't look like the right fit for him.
I don't know. Littlewood, Leatherwood, I think it's interchangeable. Leatherwood is actually a bit better.
And then
I told my parents I was going to change my name to Armstrong when I was 19. When I was 6, I said that. I didn't actually do it.
The safety combo of Jonathan Abram and Trevin Mulrig will be interesting.
Should be good. I mean, they've got some corners here too. Like a couple. Trayvon Mullen, Casey Hayward, Nevin Lawson, and where's Damon Arnett? He's a first-round pick too.
And they have Carl Joseph, who hasn't been
No, he hasn't worked out. Yeah.
Like this
defense is okay.
Well, they have pass rush that they can cycle through, which I really like. The offensive line is going to be the biggest question mark. If Leatherwood's any good, at least on the outside, they're going to be decent. Inside, like Incognito's another year older, and they've really got like
it's at a position that doesn't drop off though. It's not like a cornerback where you're getting older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like being an older guard isn't as bad. Like the amortization of the player at that position isn't nearly as bad.
He's 38 though. Like that's like he's getting up there.
Yeah. This is probably close to it. I can't wait to watch Jonathan Abram play. We all love it, but it's just like, does the league really want him? Do you know what I mean? Like his style of play isn't congruent with today's league. Ron's going to be popular in prison. Is he ever?
This is like their off-ball linebackers. It like if Littleton plays how he played for the Rams, like this defense could be pretty damn good. Like think about Littleton and then these two safeties, like over the middle is
it looks good on paper. It hasn't translated though.
Yeah. Well, they've got Gus Bradley. I think that's new, right? Gus Bradley wasn't the
No, it was Paul Gunther and they fired him. and rightfully so. I like Paul Gunther. It just didn't come together though. Like, because they made improvements.
And Gunther came from Cincinnati.
Yeah. And I liked him too. I thought it was going to be a good fit. Didn't work out.
Those Cincinnati defenses though were stacked. Like they had a lot of talent on those defenses.
Yeah. And well, they kept pouring draft capital, right? Like they drafted a cornerback 4 years in a row, I think. Who is it? William Jackson the third, Dre Kirkpatrick, and Darqueze Dennard, and one more guy, I believe. So I mean, Mr. 57. Dude, I got a lot of plugs going on in this room. I know what I'm gonna have to do to Mr. Fuse if I add any more. Yeah, I might get an air conditioner for this room. It is brutal.
I think that's a safe investment.
I got one for my room, which is we use it every night. But it's getting bad in here. You know what I got instead though, because it was supposed to be I got it for free from my sister. It was one that's supposed to go for a window that goes up and down, but like that didn't exist. Or so I don't have a window like that. So last summer I engineered this weird thing, and then I got my dad to help me build it. And him and I were like cutting wood, and I ordered plexiglass, and I got that custom made. It was very cheap. It was like $42. So, and it worked great. Roland Walden, I am a Broncos fan, Mickey. Unbelievable.
You ask and you shall receive. Holy smokes. I can't believe Roland's been lurking in chat this entire time.
Man, you could score 100 points in CFL.
I don't think I could personally, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but Roland always brings up the energy of the chat.
Sure does.
Oh, that's not true, Roland. Everybody loves you here.
That's weird, Jax. I mean,
that's some Mr. 0057, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Dong. James Dong.
Mickey brings up a really good question. Who is by Curious George's team?
You got to go Niners on that one.
That's like a eastbound and down plug right there.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Cardinals for life.
Oh,
Closer to Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Man, it's just we're like thinking some of these guys are taking these like career-changing hits in the fourth quarter of a
preseason game. Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, 41 Bryant hurt on the Pats. This under looks locked up. It's at 1-1. At least Zapp's won. He got good juice.
Yeah, he's going to finish positive for today. I'm going to be
Big loser.
Yeah. And I'm going to lose some money too.
They snapped it past the zero, but I mean, in the CFL game.
I always like when they talk about how the refs, they look at the clocks to hit zero, and then they look if the ball's snapped. Like you can't do those two
Yeah.
things at the same time.
You don't have a watch? Like you just hit like you sync a watch? Jeremy Ron, can't wait for next season. Go Giants. Oh, and you're a fan. You're a fan. I think he's from that area. I think he's from Queens. Jeremy Ron Jeremy.
Well, the guy doesn't have to do research on himself. He's just going to show up and tell us what he likes, and he likes the Giants. So
He is from Queens. What a pull.
Jeremy Ron showing up strong.
That was a good what? Yeah, he's in big trouble right now, I think.
I think this is going to be a stretch, but I think Hurts is an interesting name for MVP long shot. He kind of just like fits the mold of like if the Eagles have any success, like it's all going to be all that success is going to be credited to Hurts. Yep, Kyler Murray is cute by Curious George. We got to figure out who's the cutest guy on the Giants here for old Jeremy Ron. Probably Sterling Shepard. Didn't even have to go that far down. I know who it's not. It's not Graham Gano. That's for sure.
What's wrong with old Graham?
It's also not Mike Lennon. Saquon Barkley's pretty cute. I could see that. Stafford MVP odds are currently 15 plus 1576.
That seems really high. Short.
Welcome to chat, Barry Fruity. He said Stafford shouldn't have great odds. He's overrated.
Oh man.
It's going to be tough keeping up with all the new contributors to the
Yeah,
channel.
gee, we have a lot of fans, eh? Folks at home.
This is a good time to plug the YouTube membership as well as the Discord channel for Barry Fruity, By Curious George, Jeremy Ron, all the newcomers.
They might not be invited to fantasy this season if they aren't in the Discord, which you need to be in the membership. So there's always that.
Yep,
Harry Fruity rhymes with Harry Booty. Man, I'm lighting up in this room. Holy.
Fat guy, could you explain to me what C/$M contributors are?
Sorry, what?
Just having a tough time deciphering by Curious George's secret code.
Oh, I think I get it here. So I think he's referring to the money shot.
Ah. So the OU for the Steelers Eagles game finishes at 40 points.
Yeah, the
Football team
2-minute
is
warning,
driving.
Jax.
We're a little behind you. I'm currently learning about Fisher Investments.
I wanted to invest in Wendy's. It's an
Yeah?
American stock. I'm gonna have to ask you how to do that. I should just phone my stock whatever purchasing thing.
Are you worried about switching Canadian money to US money?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll show you a thing. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
you're
really
gonna have
awesome.
to. The journaling thing, yeah.
The
It's not a lot, but I don't want to pay the huge thing.
yeah, we'll just have
Golden
to check.
Panda.
We'll just that's
You
funny, Golden.
you would want to invest in cheeseburgers, exactly.
The real question is, Golden Panda, when are we gonna all get to go to the bar and hustle people out of some money?
My days of doing that are done, I think.
You
There is
think,
no bar
but
anymore. I do think, but
there's like this guy's a traveling circus. We could take him anywhere with his skills.
oh, him. Oh, as far as the beer drinking, yeah,
Yeah.
there's no one. Golden Panda is undefeated.
He's down whenever, that's the kind of spirit you're looking for.
Yeah. I don't know, Mickey. No one. I've never seen anyone chug a beer faster than him. It's on St. Patrick's Day. I was the money man, and I'd go around hustling competition, and he would destroy. Although I'd have to drive him home because he would get very, very drunk after.
Tabitha bringing the heat here. Really diversifying the stream chat.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that's accurate. Redskins driving here.
And if we were going to track GP's record, we'd have to have something that calculates down to like 100th of the second.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's not the first, Jackson, but it might be the last.
Yeah. I don't know. I think our moms watched. I absolutely can see it at GP, and I will back you with hard-earned dollars any day of the week.
Actually, Jackson, this will be funny because I haven't done this in a while. But
Oh yeah, what do we got? 1%, 2%?
I'll pull it up and see.
Oh yeah. Crimea Rivers, absolutely. I don't think she understood what a spread was though, because there were a lot of people that would dispute their results, and I'm like, it's a Google form. Like I don't know, we don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, Mickey, I don't know if there's overtime. Nice touchdown, Washington. Nice touchdown, Washington. Oh, Tabitha, it's weird that I was that you keyed in on that one thing. Some interesting spelling too.
So, Jackson, in the last 28 days, 100% of our views have been from male contributors. That's interesting.
Oh my, and the skins tie it up. Gandy Golden here. He runs a fade here. Wow.
All of a sudden, the OU in question. Or actually, I think this one's what, 37? No overtime in preseason games.
Well, I mean, that would mean a Washington cover then, eh? And the under.
I think the total for this game was what, 37?
30, I thought it was 36. Assuming there's still a dollar or a minute 26 left. Jaguars traded Joe Schobert to the Steelers.
Yeah, I saw that on the ticker earlier. What's going on, Ryan Williams?
Hey, oh, sweet baby boys. One of my favorite people in the world.
So the under for this game's 37.
I mean, you're looking good. It's possible, GP. It's possible. Holy, Gandy Golden dropped this. And the refs didn't see it. Oh, is this Sharp, Dylan?
What's going on, Sharp Dylan?
Oh, hello, sir. Oh, Sharp Dylan. I got to know him quite well over the last few months. It's been a pleasure, to say the least. I also heard my opinions on football aren't very good today from a different Dylan.
So they just called back this play for Washington, so now they are down 2.
What was the spread, 1 or 2?
I think it closed at 1. Pat's -1.
Oh,
that's tough.
He did drop it though. Yeah, we're almost done here. I'm sweating like a hog. Holy. I think how do these lights put off heat, eh? Big Right?
Oh yeah. They'll heat the place up. I just realized I didn't turn my lights on this entire screen.
I only have one of mine on because I'm short an extension cord. I gotta go buy one. Hog Molly, absolutely. Ryan Dub.
I enjoyed we were talking about tomfoolery, Tom fallacy in chat, and Bath dropped us with the Tom fallacy, I guess. I don't know how to say it. Fallacy.
It's just me or the crowd for just people with tattoos. I don't know. Tattoo is so weird to me. Like, Like I have one on my leg to oh yeah, this is a good I did a high card with a friend of ours and when I was 19, the loser had to get the other guy's name tattooed on him. So I had his name tattooed on me for 10 years and I got it covered up about 3 years ago by a friend of Golden Pandas. I don't really like tattoos. It's not my thing. And I don't understand like getting your neck tattooed. I mean, or your fingers. I don't know, but it's the way, it's our generation, Jax. It's what we like apparently.
Is the baseball game still going? Top of the ninth. White Sox are up 7-4.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the demographic, right? I don't see any in this Pats thing. They had some kids, some cuties too. I saw in there, but other than that,
I hope those were mutually exclusive.
yeah, yeah. Well, there was a movie, Cuties, right? The Netflix
Oh
one
my
that caused a
goodness.
big uproar.
Look at this.
What? Okay,
I've got to do some math here.
what's that?
I think I'm still safe.
Oh no, did they score on this? I'm a few seconds behind. Oh, dude, this guy 38 has had a heck of a game. I can't.
You know what's ironic about this is that
What?
New England has got to be the coaching staff has to be choked that they scored on that play, because it looks like Washington doesn't have any timeouts, and I don't know how much. I think the guy's freaking out.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Like, it's so funny because that play might have cost them the game if that was a regular season game.
Oh, yeah, it's possible. You got 37, right?
Yeah.
Yikes.
But this is a good time to mention that the OU opened at 33 and was bet up to 37.
The OC is choked, man.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he's a guaranteed win to like a 98% win. Not less than that, actually. It's like a 93% probably. Because a touchdown, 2-point tie, and then go to overtime.
Well, they still had the Pat, and they made the Pat, so I think they're up 9 now. So it doesn't.
Oh, they are. Yeah. I didn't know.
But like they could admit, like obviously, like the more things that can happen, the less likely it is to happen. But
yeah,
it's still a missed
it's
extra
bad.
point isn't. It's not impossible. Yeah, so this I can make this bigger so you guys can see if anyone cares. Yeah, this line opened 32. It was bet up to 37. So if you got the over early, you would have won. If you got the under late, we're still unsure. Mickey has put the check in the.
I think it's a little early. Even Mickey is not one to put it early, but I think he's put it down a little bit early. Stevenson has had a crazy good game.
If you can, if you go back to half, Mickey was like 2 or 3 minutes ahead of us. So He was
Oh
watching
yeah.
the game live, so I'm thinking he's
Yeah.
sending
Okay,
that
okay,
check
yeah.
with the
Yeah, good point. I
game
didn't
being
take that in
done.
consideration. Pats maybe underrated this year. I thought they were maybe last year. It didn't come to fruition, the results, but I would definitely say so this year. Like the one thing though is like you probably would have got more points than you should have with Cam Newton, right? But don't worry about it, Mickey. You're not
Yeah,
spoiling anything.
there's no
Yeah.
you can't spoil a preseason game.
Yeah, you can't. Even a regular season, you can't spoil it for us. We've been in the game too long. Yeah, you're
I think there's, you know what? I'm thinking like there's probably value on the Patriots, like 23 or just under 24% chance to win the division, but like Buffalo is good, and I'm such a fan of Miami. I think if I was gonna take a coin flip between New England and Miami, I'd probably take Miami, just because I
yeah,
think
but
they've got
like
a stronger roster.
I don't think the Bills are nearly as good as people think they are.
No, so
Like
it's
they're a quarterback. They're a quarterback team. That's like the rest of their roster is okay.
yeah. If
You know what
Josh
I mean? They
Allen
just
goes
have
down, that's not a
that's a 7-win team.
yeah. Let's see.
Maybe
who
less.
their-
Maybe less.
I
Who's
gotta
the
check
backup?
who their backup
Oh, it's Mitch
is.
Trubisky. That's a 7-win team. It's Mitch Trubisky.
And like Trubisky is a let's be honest, like he is
Below average player.
but he's a strong backup. Like that's a
Yes, but that's where you get 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, you're talking about the rest of the team is not good enough to make up for those differences.
Yeah, but he's above average backup. He's a below average starter.
Yeah. Well, interesting stuff. Thanks everybody for joining. Is there any other stuff that you want to chat about, Fat Guy, before we?
No, hit us
off?
up in the Discord. We've been a little bit. I've been a little bit trying to be a little bit more active lately. It's just the summer hadn't shared too many interesting gambling tidbits. So, any questions, share in there. And I've been doing a lot of reading, so I'll keep positing more theories and questions to the group. So, see you guys on the Discord.
Yeah, we just have a ton of interesting stuff upcoming for this NFL season, because this is the first season where we got to like prepare for having a Discord and having YouTube membership where we haven't in the past. So I have a feeling that it's going to be a very good very good month preparing for this season, because the regular season's like a month away now.
Yeah.
I think it
September
starts
8th.
on the 9th. September 9th is going to be the opener, so we're just under a month away from starting it up. You have a good night, Mickey. Have a good night, Jackson. Have a good night, anybody else who joined us along the way tonight.
Tabitha,
Yeah, Tabitha, Golden Panda, Ryan Williams, thanks.
sweet baby boy.
Yes, thanks for all stopping by. We're signing out, and we will talk to you guys later.